Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. This episode is brought to you by Crown & Caliber. Listen, guys, buying watches is a lot like buying cars, except watches are a lot simpler than cars. It's easier to take care of them, and most people do take better care of them than they do their car. Where am I going with this? Guys, you should almost always be buying your luxury watches secondhand. They take depreciation hits like cars, but they work better, and typically a secondhand watch is in really great shape, or sometimes it's not and you save money. I'm talking about Crown & Caliber. My sponsor for the last 3 years is the place to buy a secondhand luxury watch online. Rolex, Omega, Patek, AP, Cartier, Breitling, did I say Omega? Definitely Omega. Lang, Jaeger, LeCoultre, there's whatever watch you want, chances are Crown & Caliber's got it. They have over 2,000 watches in stock, and if they don't have it, they can probably source one for you. If you've got a watch you're trying to get rid of or trade up, trade out, Crown & Caliber will accept your trade-ins. As a matter of fact, I'm in the middle of a trade right now. 2 watches for 1 watch. I'm trying to consolidate upwards because I've ended up with too many watches from Crown & Caliber. I have more than I can wear, and so I'm trying to consolidate into fewer, nicer watches. It's sort of the ebb and flow of the collector's collection, as you will. I've got a deal for you guys. If you go to Crown & Caliber, your first watch is going to get a little discount from me. Code TST175 at checkout. TST175 at checkout will get you $175 off your first watch at crowncaliber.com. Code TST175, folks. Use it, get yourself a watch, and then hit me up on social media. Send me a picture. Let me know what you bought. I like seeing when you guys buy watches. I'm always real happy for you when you get your first dope watch. I can relate to that experience. Let's talk for a second about the ThinkWare U1000 dash cam, folks. It can capture clear and crisp videos of your drive. The U1000 is the first 2-channel dash cam in the world to boast a native 4K front and 2K rear resolution cameras. In addition to its amazing video quality, the U1000 can save you money with its speed and red light camera alerts, or make you a safer driver with lane departure and front collision warnings. With the convenient remote live view and parking impact alert cloud features, you can instantly check on your car or be notified of potential hit and runs. The U1000 and ThinkWare's full range of dash cams are available online and in-store at thinkware.com, Best Buy, and Amazon in the US and Canada. And here's the coupon code, folks, SMOKE20. That's SMOKE, S-M-O-K-E, 20, S-M-O-K-E 20 at thinkware.com. 20% off any regular price ThinkWare dash cam at checkout. Available on their website. Protect yourself with a ThinkWare dash cam. All right, folks, on this episode of the podcast, we got automotive journalist extraordinaires Derek Powell and Blake Rong. Truth be told, I had booked Derek on the show, and Blake crashed the party, but he's got a book to sell, so we're about it. Derek Powell has written for a bunch of people, all the big ones, including Motor Trend, and I met him as my drive partner on the RS6 Avant launch. He is an Audi and Porsche enthusiast who takes his own GT4 to racetracks, towed by his all-road. What a beast. I like him. And Blake Rong was an editor at Autoweek for quite some time. He even wrote for this site you may have heard of before that called The Smoking Tire. Blake's the man, and he's written a book. So Derek and Blake are in studio, and we talking about cars on the Smoking Tire Podcast.
Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. It's a very rainy day in LA. As usual, shit hits the motherfucking fan! Bro, when it rains in this town, it gets fucked up. Right, Derek Powell?
It's pretty bad out there.
Right, Blake Rong?
Goddamn right.
Blake Rong showed up on my doorstep like a little kitten today with his friend, and they wanted a White Claw and nothing more. Just a White Claw.
Yeah.
And Derek was on the schedule, but Blake wanted to hawk his book. So
That's right.
What's happening, Derek? Welcome.
So all I need to do is write a book and show up on your doorstep, and then I've got a carte blanche to be on the show.
It's worked with Ed Niedermeyer,
Wow.
Tug DeMuro, Blake Rong, Ryan Zumalen. It's worked with pretty much everybody.
I have all of their books too, and it's literally why I flew from the East Coast and I brought the rain, so I'm sorry about that.
Fuck
Thanks,
you.
Blake.
Right,
Fuck
yeah.
you,
Well,
Blake
we need the
Rong.
water. It's good. It
is.
Rain drift. It's nice.
Dude, LA in the rain is fun as a motherfucker when you have a Safari 911 with very low grip at the rear. You can drive, and the first slide you can always blame on an accident. So if you ever get caught, oh Jesus, I thought I was going to die, officer. But when it's the 10th slide, and he goes, I was following you for miles, sir.
or an Audi all-road.
Dude,
Yes.
you have a dope all-road.
Thank you very much.
Derek, I noticed Derek's car when I pulled up to the RS6 launch, and he had an old school all-road, like lifted on some like beefy little tires. And then I learned, I believe from Steve Ewing, that you tow a fucking race car with that.
I do. I
you
do.
are a beast.
It's got 140,000 miles on it.
Look at that.
I know. Yeah.
That is glory right there.
Yep. Yeah, it's got 140,000 miles on it. I've towed from Utah to Washington, million
That's
times
great.
to Thunderhill, Sonoma, Laguna Seca, and it is the most reliable car I've ever
What's
had.
the tow rating on it?
5,000 pounds.
Yeah. So that's
Wow.
an open trailer and a relatively light
Open
car.
trailer, 900 pounds. I have.
Well, that's kind of a fat car on it right now, too.
that is
What
my
that?
1970 Ford Torino GT convertible.
Oh, shit. Does
Yeah.
it work?
right now it's stripped to bare metal.
Oh, cool. On its way to working.
On its way to working. That actually was on the way to the mechanic to strip it down. It's
When was the last time I saw a Torino convertible?
they
Fucking
made about
never.
1,600 in
Is that all?
1970 and 1,500 in 1971. That's it.
That's it?
Yeah. So
So this is
woman-
what it's supposed to look like, right?
yeah, that's
color
what
is
it's
it
supposed to
gonna
look
be?
like. It's going to be again pastel blue. I'm a big.
Is that pastel blue?
That is not pastel
That's like
blue.
the
That's
metallic
just-
blue.
Yeah, that's metallic
Pastel
blue.
blue is a great color.
Is
And-
metallic blue and non-metallic like properly pastel?
It is properly pastel.
I like that kind of green gray. Go back up. What's that? Is that just silver?
I think
Or
that's
stripe?
We're
Yeah,
on
that one.
green.
Yeah,
No, this
yeah.
is green. This is like
green?
Yeah, that was
That
done in
stripe
Santa Barbara.
is fucking
yeah.
great. Oh, dude, are you going to go with the graphics?
It's going to be completely bone stock. I've decided. I just
Well, that looks stock. That's
that is
got to
stock.
be OEM.
That is stock.
Yeah.
The woman that owned it, I bought it from this 82-year-old woman in Kansas City. Her name was Harriet, and
Of course.
Yep. Yeah. Her husband's name was Ozzy, and I am not shitting you
Fuck
on that.
outta here.
Nope. Seriously. And
Did they
so,
change their names to that? Was that a coincidence?
No, they were just they were
It was
named well before the show came
That's
on.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If that's a coincidence that Ozzy actually met Harriet
Yep.
in real fucking A.
Yep.
Life is weird.
I know.
Yeah.
So she sold it to me for $7,500, and she said, "Well, it's we repainted it. Marilyn Monroe's painter repainted the car because it was getting
Sorry,
old.
Marilyn Monroe's painter.
You
Was
know,
among
I
her
mean-
talents, could she recommend body work?
I guess so.
or a house painter.
But what
You
she
guys, this body shop is the best. Marilyn Monroe.
Marilyn
only
Monroe
uses-
took her car to this paint guy. That's awesome. What she didn't tell me, and what I discovered when I got it to California, is that she had been rear-ended and probably smacked into somebody else.
Wait, Marilyn Monroe or the car?
the
Oh,
Both.
sorry. I mean, there was an open door there.
right.
Had to
Hey-o.
run through that door. Oh, so the car was medium to fucked?
The car it had been grunched in the back and grunched in the front. So when it got sanded down, Bondo was holding in the front marker lights, and the back was all Bondo.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So what do? Find a parts car?
Well, that's the thing, because there are only 3,000 total in 70 and 71. Finding a donor car is going to be impossible. The front fenders,
so what do?
you can find.
Are you just fucked now?
You can leave it as Bondo, or you can just set it aside and start that lifelong search for rear quarter panels.
Oh my God! Well,
Yeah.
does year one
mean-
make anything? Probably not. Pretty rare car.
I'm trying to because
Can you get the quarters off a coupe?
you cannot get the quarters off the coupe
Oh.
because
just get some Italian craftsmen to hand hammer it like they do
Yeah.
in Torino. Yeah.
Can
Yeah.
you send it to Torino where someone will know how to fucking fix it?
Did you know
Jeez,
that
dude.
one of the finalists' names for the Mustang was Torino?
Uh-huh. I did not, but that's interesting.
And it's in the Iacocca autobiography. And at the time, a Ford exec was having an affair with an Italian consulate
Hilarious,
wife or something
yeah.
like that. And so they were like, okay, Torino's off the table.
That's so funny.
But
They're
5
like,
years
"Hell no.
later-
Hell no.
Yeah, 5
he
years
uses
later,
it-
they were like, all right, why not?
Why Torino? Oh, it's such a romantic scenery. Cheater!
Oh, you said Ayakoka's autobiography? Guess what I saw at the bookstore today?
Oh, I love
Speaking
that
of
picture of your
books-
Audi off-roading. Yeah. Speaking of books, the Ayakoka autobiography today.
$5. Last bookstore.
Did you
downtown
buy
LA.
it?
No, I bought
Oh.
this instead.
The DeLorean autobiography.
It was also $5.
That's perfect. That's
Yeah.
a great $10.
Did he write it in
Right.
one night, like one coke-addled night?
Yeah.
He just cranked this thing out and
with
turned it
Ted
in.
entire
Schwartz?
thing's
I'd
one
like
These are
to
some
interview-
good words.
Just one paragraph.
I'd like to interview John DeLorean's ghostwriter, Ted Schwartz, on this podcast. If he is still
May the
alive.
Schwartz be with you.
Did you guys see the Alec Baldwin DeLorean movie?
Not
Not
yet.
yet.
Dude, see it. You've never seen anything fucking weirder in your life.
Okay.
I've said on the podcast a million times. I'll keep saying it. It's the most bizarre non-biography. Because Alec Baldwin jumps the fourth wall. Like, he just turns into himself at various parts of the movie.
So it's
And
like
sometime-
DeLorean, a one-man play.
Kind of, but like it basically Alec Baldwin when he acts as John DeLorean, he's acting as Alec Baldwin just with this fucking wig on. And the eyebrows. And then at sometimes, because he's not really trying, when he steps out of character to give you some of his thoughts as Alec Baldwin, still dressed as John DeLorean.
Right.
It's not really any different.
Yeah.
It's so fucking weird.
That's something I would see off
There's-
Broadway.
Yeah,
You know?
off Broadway.
Off Broadway, yeah.
Oh my
Maybe
God.
Florida, dinner theater.
Were you there while hawking your book, Blake Rong? Is that why you
that
saw?
at the last bookstore, I was not.
Tell us about your book.
My book is called. Yep.
Is your mic on? Is his mic on?
Is it?
Yeah.
I hope it is.
Get closer.
Make it louder.
You're like a foot away.
Yeah.
Oh.
What number
How about
does it
now?
say?
It's been years
He's
since I
two.
won this podcast.
Oh, is he one or two? One? Yeah. How about now? Say some things, Blake.
Hello.
Oh, okay, that's better. Tell us
Great.
about your book. Sorry.
All right, my book is called Beautiful Machines: The Era of the Elegant Sports Car, which I have to say it like that.
What
It's
era
very cool.
was the elegant sports car?
The era that I had in mind when writing this book was from the 60s to the 80s at least, but there's also some things in there from the 2000s, 2010s, and there's also a Bugatti Type 57 Atlantic, which you cannot argue is not anything but, it is incredibly elegant, of course.
A bold statement, Blake. I don't know. Gonna get a lot of pushback on that.
Rare hand-built Bugatti. Yeah,
Did
sorry.
someone let you drive one?
I wish. No,
I
it was,
went for a ride in one once. It was weird as hell.
I think
it's
the
not a
pe-
thing
yeah.
that's meant to have people inside of it. It's just not a shape that's for that.
Oh, you mean there's not enough rear headroom in the back? Yeah,
It's
that's
like
gonna knock
driving
a couple
like
of
a
points down. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
Yep. That was a fun one to write about.
Ferrari,
Yes.
sorry, Alpha
So it's a coffee
Tipo
table
33.
book.
It is 335 pages. It's a hefty beast. Yeah. Wow. I wrote about 45. I wrote about 45 cars, and there's a couple essays in there. And
Wow.
it took me better part of this year mostly. And there's all the hits. There's like 2 Ferrari 250s in there. There's a Lamborghini Miura. There's a Rivian, the electric supercar.
When I was
That
a
was their
kid,
idea.
I collected every single book like this. Like every just like book of awesome cars and like the book that's like just like Ferrari and it's just an encyclopedia of all. I collected every single book like
There's
this.
so many books like that. Yeah.
Who
it's
took
great.
Parents,
photos?
buy this for your kids if they know what a book is still.
It's out right now. Amazon has it listed at $69. Nice.
For
And
a book- for a coffee table book that's that like hefty, that's actually a very good price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good value. That's awesome, dude. Wait, so
thanks.
what is the process like? Because I know, like, there's a couple people who've been on the podcast who've written. Ed wrote a book about Tesla, and Ryan wrote about millennial car culture, and others have written fiction. But like, I think you're the first person to come on the show since Dan Neal that wrote a coffee table book. What's the process of that like?
It was interesting because I was working with the publisher. It was a German publisher called Gestalten, and they are known for having extremely fancy and luxurious-looking books about art and design and everything. There's a book about Mediterranean design. There's a book about like Scandinavian furniture and everything.
I definitely recognize the publisher name from other books I've got, for sure. Yeah.
And their process, the guy who runs it is a big car guy as well. So him and I kind of over like the course of 2 weeks talked to each other and wheedled it down a list from 60 cars to 45. I threw in a Saab 99 Turbo in there because of course I did.
Of course you did.
And
Of course you did.
I actually wrote an article about it.
Saabs.
Yeah. They nixed it.
No pushback. Oh, they did.
They nixed it.
Nice call, Zach.
Go listen, Blake.
I'm gonna write an entire book about Saab one of these days. Don't worry
They're
about
like,
it.
all of these are stunning, but
Oh, what is this
we
weird?
have one question.
This weird turd. that I happen to. Oh no, I actually have a 900.
Right in
turbo. That's a
between the
different story.
33 Tipo and the short wheelbase Ferrari, you put. I'm sorry, this is a Saab.
This is a Saab.
I actually put 6 Saabs in there. That's a real Saab story. Am I right, folks?
It's Saabs and the men who love them. That's your
next book.
Is this a Prius C? You snuck in? Is this?
Wow. Hey, listen, Saab's a little bit better than that, right?
It is. It is.
Thank you. No, the process was great. It was so I kind of had a lot of creative license to write about these cars in a way that's not really commonly talked about. So like the Alfa Romeo 33 Stradale, if you want to go back to that, probably my running for the most beautiful car ever made, which is again a very bold statement. You know, it's a very controversial opinion.
It's not that controversial. It's definitely in the top 5 in almost anyone's collection, I think. Of prettiest.
We saw one at the Alfa Museum when we were in Milan. And it's just
cool. It's crazy looking.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
you know the guy who invented that car, Franco Scaglione, it took him just 9 months to build that car. The entire thing is made of magnesium. And
because it's so safe, right?
Yeah, exactly. Everything, even the wheels are magnesium, of course. And there's only like 9 out there, or something.
Is that how many they made? 9?
I should probably check.
Or did they made more and they were crashed and racing and tossed aside? Probably
not even that. They tried to sell them and no one bought the one because it was probably the equivalent of like $1 million back then. So
you know what? That's probably what's going to happen with 4Cs. People are just going to, I bet you that 33 drives like garbage, just like a fucking 4C.
I like the 4C.
And all you have to do is wait 50 years and people just won't care because it's so pretty. That's it.
I'm glad you had the Fossil Vega in there. That's
Fossil Vega
one of my
was cool.
favorites. Yeah.
That's the Dan Neal favorite, the perennial Dan Neal favorite.
Yeah.
He'll go on for fucking 2 hours about Fossil Vegas.
Fossil Vegas are very upright, kind of gawky looking cars, but the Fossil 2 is it's like a hot rodded version of a Fossil.
FACEL, Zach.
Yeah, well, you spelled it right, but it's the Fossil 2, which is the one. You're looking at the HK 500s right now, which is the car that Albert Camus's publisher had, and he died in it. But the Fossil is it's like a chopped roof. It's super stretched out.
The 2 is actually pretty.
It's the last car they ever made.
That middle picture is pretty hot.
It's like a leaner, meaner Riviera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
It's a British Buick Riviera.
Yeah,
yes,
but it's not meaner looking than a Riviera.
Well,
this is
it's a good point. It is actually less mean, I would say, than a Riviera. A Riviera is going to be more mean than that.
Oh, there's actually
this looks like they
Riviera
took.
is a mean
I don't know,
car.
man. This is like
Dude,
two
a
different
65
cars.
GS
It's a mean
is on
car.
my bucket
right?
list.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, you're 65 over boat tail?
Yeah.
Actually,
I'm not a
I'm a
Hirschberg
boat
fan.
fan.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm the first generation GS, but with the hidden headlights.
Oh shit, you
Yeah.
fucking
Those are cool,
nerds.
too.
Well,
Super
no,
cool.
65 was the only year for those hidden headlights.
This is going
Exactly.
to be a nerd
Exactly.
show, folks.
Right.
Strap in for the nerdery.
So
It's a very pretty car.
Yeah.
I really like that. What do those things go for? Those are they're big dollars,
3 to
right?
500,000,
Yeah,
I think.
big
Yeah,
dollars.
This is ugly
they
as fuck.
They barely made it.
I think this car's
about it?
heinous. I see 3
Zach,
different cars,
you're
man.
a rube. You do not appreciate the finer French things in life, like
That is
music.
probably true. It's just like there's Mercedes in the front, and then it looks like they took the top from something else, and they were like, "This will fit," and they just bolted that on. And the back is like first gen Corvette taillights, but it's too square.
it had a Chrysler Big Block in it, so.
It was one of those. It was one of those European American
Franken
hybrid
cars.
things.
Yeah, there's 3 cars in this book I wrote about that all had
it's got a Hemi in it.
That's like a weird AC Cobra
got a
turn,
heavy?
you know?
Yeah.
This is the Cobra's artsy cousin.
It's like a lazy ass Cobra. Like it's like the guy the Cobra that's just been smoking cigarettes and drinking wine.
but painting and making lots of money, I feel like.
But it's a car you could do 120 miles an hour like all day long in because it's like
Good fucking luck, bro.
6,000 pounds.
No thanks.
Yeah. So there's 3 cars.
Interior is very
Interior
pretty.
is
The
pretty
interior is
sweet.
very, very pretty. I mean, you get points there. This is 62. Yeah,
That's
pretty good.
64, I think. But that's
very,
a Rolls Royce
very
interior.
nice.
Those switches are awesome.
Do we think
These
that
HVC.
steering wheel is straight at this moment, or do we think it's a normal 3-spoke and it's just turned in this picture?
It's just turned in the
It's
picture.
just turned in the picture, right?
So the guy who invented Fossil was this guy named John Donilos, I think. He was like a Greek immigrant who came to France, and he made his money making like airplane components during the war. So he had a lot of this like airplane like knowledge, and that's when he went into Fossil stands for something French. It's like an acronym like French industrial something, and then he named it after the Chevy Vega. No, I'm just kidding. He named it after the star.
Oh, Ovega.
Yeah, the actual
like from
Vega.
the movie Contact.
Yeah. And the
Whoa,
Chevy
those
Vega.
back seats. Now we're talking. The back seats are really where it's
With
at.
a speaker that does nothing, probably. 'cause
Yeah, it's a speaker.
64.
He
I think
probably
so.
is a speaker, huh?
It's a PA system.
Well, you're supposed to
It
listen
really
to
is.
Serge Gainsbourg on
Wait,
that.
go
so.
back. Go back in that image, Zach. What are those little things behind the headrest? They look like glass almost. What are those?
They look like little
domes?
air scoops for some reason.
Little air scoops.
I think they are.
Oh,
Yeah.
I bet it.
Yeah, it's like
I bet it blows
ventilation.
hot air or cold air on your neck.
Oh,
That's what I bet.
shit! That would be amazing
Yeah,
if they
scoff.
did that in '62.
They could also
pretty
be
cool.
like air extractors because, of course, you're going to be smoking cigarettes in this thing while
Also-
you're
Oh,
driving
yeah.
around.
valid.
Yeah.
Did you guys go to the first ganja bar in LA yet? The one you can actually blaze at? They have the outdoor patio area. It's called Lowell Cafe. They do a really nice job. Their food's good too. The outdoor area, even though it's outdoors, has these sort of umbrella-looking things over the perimeter of the outside, and it's very quietly sucking all the smoke so that you can't smell ganja from off the property. That's apparently one of the big laws in having it, is you can't be able to smell ganja in the neighborhood.
Wait, so you're not stuffing dryer sheets into an empty Sprite bottle anymore? Oh,
I mean,
okay.
It's
I
like one of
do
those
here.
smoking sections in an airport. You know, those
right.
big glass boxes.
Oh, the hamster box?
The
yeah.
hamster box. Yeah.
Which I was in Frankfurt a couple months ago, and I walked past one of those. I can smell smoke leaking out of it. Which
Oh
is
my god!
real
Yeah,
well, it
nasty.
works
Working
when the
correctly.
doors open. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. When I was smoking cigarettes, those hamster boxes were. I mean, it was like hitting home plate. I was like, whoa, Zach, what does that say? That error message, is that normal?
Yep.
Okay, sorry. It's a new system, and I see yellow shit pop up, and I panic.
It's there all the
I,
time.
I have to say that one of my friends texted me before I came on. He goes, "Dude, I can't believe you're on." And then he said, "Wait, there are already 3 downvotes. What the hell?" I'm like,
I mean, look, being on the internet automatically.
no, I love
thumbs
it. I
down.
love it. I'm like,
Instant
how many
thumbs down.
downvotes do we have now? Can you tell?
I can't wait to see.
They're BMW guys.
How many?
We haven't even
dislikes?
discussed anything yet.
I know. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
They knew I
You
was
can
in
discuss
town.
nothing of substance, and people will be like, "This sucks." Oh wait. Huh.
Right.
Okay, so back to my
boy.
book. Anyway,
Back to your book. I'm excited for your book. I'm gonna buy a copy. Bookmark that shit, Zach. Let's fucking click buy it now. I'll buy
there's
a copy.
3 cars in this book that are that kind of like European coach-built design with big O American engines in it. So there's that car, the Jensen Interceptor, and the Iso Grifo.
Iso Griffos are cool,
Which is awesome.
Jensens
Yeah.
are way fucking overrated.
Uh-oh.
Not about that Jensen.
Well, they
life.
also have big block Hemis in them.
I know, but
Yeah.
but that's not why.
And an all-wheel drive system if you really want.
Yeah.
Yes, the FF. I wrote about
Yeah.
the FF in that one too. Yeah.
I left a note on a obscure all-wheel drive sports car today.
Oh, really?
Someone parked a BMW 325. Is it XI or
IX?
IX? It's an
IX.
IX.
E30?
Coupe, E30 coupe.
Oh, yeah.
With the M Technic body kit on it. It's parked it in my neighborhood about a week ago. It hasn't moved.
I had no idea you could get the all-wheel drive in the coupe.
I haven't seen one.
You
before.
could. A
I
neighbor of
that's
mine
it. I
growing up had
photographed.
one,
I put
yeah.
it on my Instagram.
Wow.
In America,
I
they
left a
all
note on
had
that
that
car
body
today.
kit. They all
It
had that
was-
body kit in America. Yeah.
It's the fucking jam.
Yeah.
And it's got 2 baby seats in the back of it. So I don't know what the deal is. It's been there for like a minute though.
That one looks like
so
it's
I
in nice
left a
shape.
number on it, and I hope he calls me or she calls me.
Oh, this is the one you were talking about on the RS6 drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been there since then.
Wow. Wait, has your note been there since then?
No, my note got put there. My note I put there today.
Okay.
Hey, that's a good segue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we talk about RS6? Did we ever spend any time on RS6 on the show? I don't know if we did.
I don't remember. We did a lot of shows that week, and I think that was auto
I
shows.
might
So
have gotten,
probably not.
I might have gotten blown over. The RS6 ruled.
Oh my God. It was
Nice.
just.
Derek was my drive partner,
which was great.
which
Which
was very
awesome.
fun. We mobbed.
We did.
We did. Yes. Did you enjoy the car?
I think so I had just gotten out of the RS5 and I was supremely underwhelmed by the RS5. The 2.9 in that car, the 2.9 in anything just has no soul, no personality. And I was just really worried that Audi was going to do something to this iconic car to mess it up. And I think about 20 yards into our drive, as soon as we got in the PCH, we looked at each other and we're like, oh, thank God.
Oh, thank God it's not shit.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
cool.
not shit.
Oof, thank
and then
God.
we could
Ooh.
spend the rest of the day just
Yeah.
enjoying it.
Yeah. I think they executed the RS6 formula really well.
Mm-hmm.
It's like everything you expect out of a car like that. It's
Absolutely.
The Mercedes is the more aggressive option.
That's what I said in my review too.
yeah.
I said that's the car for the guy who kicks sand in people's face and cuts in line and just steals your lunch money. And this is just more civilized. I mean, it's just as powerful. It's just as quick, but there's something a little bit more refined to it.
Looks good.
Yeah.
It looks real.
It looks mean.
It looks mean. It looks
pissed
mean
off.
as hell, and it hides the weight really well. And I think my hypothesis is that everyone's going to start using rear steer in everything to start hiding weight. And actually, I think someone asked that question that we didn't get to.
They did,
which was to explain how it is that rear steer hides weight, and by shrinking the wheelbase.
Yeah, it shortens the wheelbase, or it makes. I mean, not literally shortens the wheelbase, because that would be cool.
Variable wheelbase technology.
It's super reliable.
Coming on the next
That'd be
Infinity
so fucking
QX60.
crazy.
Yeah,
wouldn't that be wild?
that would be scary.
That would
Make sure-
break
make sure-
so fast. What are you guys even talking about?
Make sure nobody sits in the back seat because they will be crushed to death.
In my mind, it's kind of like that Lexus that Bose built with the active
Oh my God, that thing
suspension.
was awesome.
yeah.
Mercedes has that now.
Yeah, but
the Mercedes like GLS or GLE or
Oh, yeah,
whatever
yeah.
fucking
I think it's the
bounces.
GLE.
GLE, it
Yeah.
bounces. Yeah, remember that Bose video that they did?
That was so amazing. It's approaching that bump, and it just kind of like goes up like a.
it hops.
Yeah.
It bunny hops the speed bump.
It's really cool. It's
That
like
was the jam. Yeah, the Bose suspension on an LS 400. But like, they never built that shit.
No,
Why didn't they?
it would be nice to see if it went a million miles.
Wait, we finally know why Bose's magical hopping suspension never made it to production. Oh, it's by Balaban from 2016.
Holy shit.
Look at
can
it, it
show
hops
this.
the speed bump.
That's
so
like me
good.
That
skiing.
GIF is the jam. Look at this. Boop.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's the shit.
But is that more comfortable than going over the bump because you're getting you're getting lifted into the air?
Bro,
That's
who
a
cares
very
if it's
good
more
point.
comfortable? It's way cooler.
It's all four wheels off the ground.
It's amazing.
Holy shit.
That's a self-yumping vehicle.
That's
How?
That's the
It
guys.
bunny hops, yeah, it's straight
That's
bunny
the
hops.
valets in the Ferrari in
Ferris Bueller.
in Ferris Bueller. Yeah.
Dun-dun-dun. Wait, and what's the reason? Cost? Yeah, cost. Of course. Yeah.
Cool.
Cost. And it costs a zillion fucking dollars. That's why. The answer is it would have made a Lexus LS 400 cost
Too heavy and
$500,000.
too expensive, it says.
Yeah.
But rear wheel steering, on the other hand,
Is neither of those things.
is neither of those things. Yeah. And 30 years after it was seen on like the Honda Prelude,
Right.
we're now
Exact.
seeing it.
Well, you
come
really
back.
need advanced computing systems to make it work well.
Right,
like
like
I had a
displacement on
Skyline
demand.
and it was weird.
Yeah.
You know, I've driven Skylines that have the rear steer like from the R32s, and it's a little wonky. It kind of feels like you're about to drift, but you're not.
Right.
That's how the new Lusso feels. The
Oh,
Ferrari
really?
Lusso. It feels like it's like, oh, am I drifting? Nope, I'm just calmly turning. But yeah,
Really?
if it's not perfect, I've noticed it feels strange.
Porsche's is invisible.
Correct.
And this one's pretty invisible too, but it's like, oh, dude, this thing's 4,600 pounds, but it still kind of dances a little bit.
Right,
So
right.
it
and
does
the,
it
the
well.
old systems are like hydraulic too, right? So
Yeah.
it's like really heavy. This is just you just get through electronics.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just
and
a
I think-
small little box.
Is it
and,
ZF?
controls it.
ZF makes them. They make all. I think ZF makes all of the systems for everybody.
That would
do.
make sense.
I believe they do. It is ZF.
They're
right?
using that 8-speed automatic
Yeah.
for everybody.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, it's for everybody. Yeah,
They're going to put them on pickup trucks. Whoa.
that's probably a great idea. I'd love one on a pickup truck.
Well,
That'd be
Chevy had the
fantastic.
4-wheel steer for
Do
a
they?
while in the early 2000s.
Oh, they
It
did?
did
GMC
not
Sierra
last long.
Denali, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
it good?
It was
Did
called
work?
Quadra steer. I remember
Yeah, it was
that.
super
Quadra
expensive
steer,
too.
Right.
Quadra steer.
Yo, the American companies always come up
Quadra-steer.
with the good names. Torque Flight.
Yeah.
Quadra-steer. Hemi.
Well, I
The
think they
fucking
come up with
Mercedes,
the,
they never come up with a cool name
I
like
think
that.
they come up with some great inventions and
Yeah.
then don't follow through,
Yeah.
or the implementation is really clunky, like the V864 or Quadra steer
Yeah.
or the first anti-lock brake systems. So they disappear for like 20 years.
Direct port injection.
Yeah, fuel injection in
Yeah.
the 50s and 60s, and
Yeah.
then it just went away. Or the 4-speed automatic.
Yeah.
And then somebody else perfects it and they introduce it like.
And Apple comes along.
I was just about to say, like Apple.
Makes it
And they're
nice,
like,
yeah.
look, you can listen to music without a CD.
Oh, cool. Oh, see, 4-wheel steer would be great
Mm-hmm.
for towing. That's really a good use of that. I like that very much. I remember these pictures are from like an actual press launch that ZF did. It was like, here's our new products. But of course, GM's like Quadra steer.
Of course.
You
Yeah.
know, Mercedes like, this is
Proprietary.
our new M126 engine. It's
Yeah.
completely unrememberable, but it's very loud.
Well, don't forget they have magic everything now.
Right.
So
Oh,
magic everything and air everything.
Magic body control, right?
Magic
Is that-
body
Is that what they're
control.
using?
No.
I haven't been on a Mercedes launch in a long
Yeah.
time. Is it magic?
They use magic quite a bit.
Which sounds like a 70s
Magic-
rock song, like a Deep Purple song.
And
or
remember
something.
their
Magic body
their
control.
their neck vent was
Right.
called air scarf.
I love the air scarf.
Yeah.
Don't you dare shit on my air scarf.
I'm not shitting on your air scarf. It will not come out.
Mercedes they have perfect seats in those AMGs. They're perfect.
Yeah.
They have neurosurgeons that help design them. They're fucking.
Do you like it
geniuses.
when it like holds you in when you're going around the corner?
I like a little snug.
You like a little
I
snug?
I like when they finally got the programming right. You know,
Right.
the early ones were like,
Yeah. Yeah.
half a
Not
second
good.
too late.
Yes, always in the middle of the apex. I
Yeah.
drove that E55 and it was like a late awkward squeeze. And I was like, get away from me, uncle. It was just not. I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
Oh my god. So yeah, RS6 is pretty good.
The RS6 was great. Unfortunately for me, even if I could afford it, you can't get the tow hitch here in the
Oh
States.
shit, no really?
Yeah,
You can't?
yeah. That platform
But you
is going to
can
be
in
great.
Europe?
If you
can in
can't
Europe.
afford it, you can afford to have one made.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or you get the OEM Plus importers who can bring in the tow hitch.
Yeah.
Like I did with the All-Road.
Can you just do European delivery on a tow hitch? I will go to Ingolstadt with an empty suitcase and get a tow hitch.
So, fun fact: the tow hitch on my All-Road has a little push twist dial, so you can take it off, and then there's nothing underneath, and you still have the body or the ground clearance. And that dial got hit and it broke, but because it's a German component, Bosel USA said, we can't do anything about it. You have to take it to Germany. And so I was actually going to Germany to pick up my my new GT4. And so I took the hitch with me. And Zach, if you look up Bosel hitch,
What is it? Wait,
How do you
Bosel?
spell
What is
that?
Bosel?
Bosel is it's
a
like
company?
Westphalia. Yeah, it's like.
Okay. Sorry, I never heard of the company. BOSAL.
And so it's a detachable hitch, and if you Google a picture of one of those hitches, I had it in my suitcase, and then I went through.
It's the weird penis-looking little
Yeah.
Is it the one that
yeah.
looks
Yeah.
like a dildo?
Yes. And let
a
me tell
real
you,
awkward
going through
conversation.
Berlin security was the best thing ever, because I see this woman at the monitor looking at the suitcase going through, and her eyes just widen and a slight smile on her lips. And I really did and did not want to know what she was thinking at that very moment.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
You really could lean into that one too.
Well,
That's
she
fucking
brought the
great.
suitcase over, and she's like, "May I open this?"
Oh my
I'm
god,
like,
it's so funny.
yeah, you can open it. Yeah.
I just saw a GIF on Reddit the other day of a TSA agent opening a suitcase that just had a huge like purple dildo in it, and like looking up and then slowly closing it again and pushing it to the side. It was fucking
well,
great.
this woman opened the suitcase and did not
That's
close it back
so
up. Yeah,
funny.
She actually picked it up.
But you straight called them out by bringing that to Germany, didn't
I
you?
did.
I like
I
that
did.
very much.
I did, yeah.
My phone needs to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, taking that to Germany and getting it fixed is probably the most. I don't know, one of the weirdest things I've done.
Yeah, but paired with European delivery of a GT4, that sounds excellent.
That was epic. That
Did you
was
do that
absolutely
in
epic.
Stuttgart?
Yeah, in Stuttgart.
Zuffenhausen or
Yeah.
whatever you call it?
Yeah.
Zuffenhausen, for those who don't know, is the suburb of Stuttgart that the Porsche factory is in. So
Yes.
it sounds like you're talking about different places, but it would be like saying L.A. and then Beverly Hills or something.
Yeah, or
Vernon or
Canoga
whatever,
Park.
wherever the equivalent is of it's not Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
Zuffenhausen.
Yeah.
It's a cool experience though, right?
dude. So yeah, I thought for the longest time I thought Zuffenhausen was just the roundabout where the where all
It pretty
the stuff
much
is.
is.
Yeah.
If you type Zuffenhausen in the GPS, it takes you to that traffic circle. in
It
front of
does with
Porsche,
the little statue. So I
Porsche on a stick.
Porsche on a
Is the
stick.
stand in the middle of the thing. It's a bunch of big sticks with Porsches on the
It's
end.
That's
of
great
also
when
when they
it's
serve in
split
the
up.
cafeteria at the factory, right?
It is. It is. It is.
the street vendors outside of they've got a mold for like sausages into Porsche. Porsche on a
Porsche-shaped
stick.
falafel.
Which has a part number, by the way.
Ah, very
Right, the sausage,
good.
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Very good.
it does. But yeah, it was an epic trip. So I used to have a tangerine 987 that I bought at Hurley Haywood's dealership in Jacksonville. And
I always forget he owns a store, doesn't he?
yeah,
Really?
well, he
Haywood?
used to.
Does he not anymore?
He's divested himself of it. Yeah, and so I got a TTRS after that because I had gotten my mom into track events with me, And
Awesome. Not many people can say that. That's cool.
I know. And as stout as the 987 is, just the logistics of like she had a session and I had a session and back and forth. So I was just looking at cars. Oh no, she was going to get an S6, and my mom is very particular on colors, and she had always eyed this particular Cayman, and so she wanted her SX in India red, which was the color of her B5 A4.
Okay. Which one red is India red?
India red is kind of like Zanzibar on the Porsche 996.
Is it dark red?
It's like an orangey, coppery red.
That's a tough one to Google.
Yeah, you
India
have to
red
type in Audi. Yeah.
Audi does a very affordable paint to sample.
They
by
do.
comparative.
They do.
I think
Yeah,
I said it was most colors are $3,000, right?
Yeah, $3,500.
Oh yeah, I know that red.
Yeah.
That's a good red. Yeah.
So
yeah.
That's a very nice red.
So the dealership called me and said, "Hey, our paint shop can no longer produce this color for whatever reason." And so my mom levitated with rage for a while. We were down at the dealership.
Unavailable.
Yeah.
Tell that motherfucker to mix that fucking.
I was told by
Go to India.
Go to Indy. I don't care. I just heard my mom say "fuck" for the first time in my entire life, and it's because we were watching Bosch, and I didn't hear a line, and I asked her to repeat it, and she repeated it verbatim. And
The first time you've ever heard her say "fuck" and she was quoting somebody else,
Yep.
and it was it casual as it could be?
This is this is the person who she'll sing "Do a Little Dance," and then she'll go "Do a Little Dance" because she can't say it.
She can't say
Make a little love. Yep. And she says,
wow.
you know, she used to say "Damn Sam" when I was a kid. But
Can you bring her like the lyrics to an Eminem song and just be like, "Mom, read this out
She
loud"?
probably would.
She probably
yeah,
would. That's
yeah.
so weird.
She would be like Siri, where
It's
she's
like
just
it's
like
not a
emotionally
sin
detached.
if it doesn't originate through my brain. If
I
it
guess
doesn't
so.
filter.
Yeah.
Her suitcase definitely does not get stopped going through TSA for any reason.
It certainly
it's
did
probably
not.
empty. It's
Yeah.
just yep.
Yep. Oh, okay. You have gray corduroys. All right.
40
that's
white
good.
T-shirts. Next.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong.
Dry Kellogg cereal. Go ahead.
Wow, you know my mom. So
Okay, wait. Which brings us to Germany and European delivery of a GT4.
yeah, so I had the TTRS for a while, and it's just not. It just wasn't a track car, you know.
Nice street car though.
Dude, I bought it partially because of seeing your review on it, and hat tip to you. And yeah, that engine, I could see that engine in so many other cars, but not this platform. It just that platform just is so overwhelmed by that power, and you can't make it perform. You can't make it rotate.
Yeah.
You know.
What you want to do is put that engine the long way in an old Audi and make it go brap.
Well, there's actually a guy
what you really need
in
to be
Vegas. His name is Henke Rose.
I heard of this
and
guy.
he has. I did a European car feature with him.
IROSZ or
Just
some
IROZ.
IROZ.
And he had an 07K powered Quattro, and I brought out my TTRS, and we did like a little comparo.
Yeah.
But he's put that engine in a B5. He's put it in.
It's like 800 horsepower. His shit, right?
His
it's
yeah.
like
His
craziness.
RS3 is insane. Like it's. I don't know
Didn't
if it's.
his RS3 run 9s?
It's
like with not much things on it.
not much things.
Like
Not much things.
no, I
on
read
it.
it.
Yeah,
I
that's
was like
that's
he took the
that's the
interior
package.
out and put drag radials on it, and then it was like bolt-ons and ethanol, and that was it.
Yeah, and
it ran
he
9s.
builds a wicked engine too. He's just
I hear it.
amazing.
He's in Vegas.
Yeah, he's in Vegas. So when you go to the track, if you turn right in that industrial park where the Holden importer guy is.
Oh yeah, like where Shelby used to be over there. Yeah.
right there. He's
Yeah.
just down one more warehouse, and just look for a bunch of Audis in front, and you go inside. It's pretty amazing.
Is that the he ran? Was that a
10090 at 142 at Auto Club, and
That's
that's the
pretty
RS3.
rad.
Yeah.
I've never driven an RS3. I drove just TTRS. Is the RS3 the same?
It's a little
basically?
softer. I was on the RS3 TTRS launch at Lime Rock, and having those, side by side was.
Can you grab the Tito's from the other side?
It was.
I mean, I didn't want to get up, but
No,
she's there.
I get
Sorry.
it. It's my stories are that compelling.
The
so I
RS3 is very
appreciate
nice.
it.
RS3 Lime Rock. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So the RS3 is a little softer, but the engine's the same. Anyway, the day I heard that the GT4 was being launched, I put a deposit down with my dealer, and just waited a year for it to materialize. I just waited and waited and waited.
Did you get
and
a very early like build? Did it end up not really mattering?
It was one of those things where Porsche was caught totally off guard by the response for the car because they priced it at 84.6. And in my head, you know,
It was way underpriced.
yeah, everybody saw it and they were like, "Oh, that's not bad at all." And so combine that with I think 1,200 allocations or something like that for the U.S. market. It sold out super quickly, and Porsche was just overwhelmed.
They were getting flipped for 110 within like days.
Yeah, and so I
shout out to my boy who paid 110 for one with like 2,000 miles on it.
Oh man,
no.
Well,
it's a nice car.
Yeah, I didn't do that, but I did wait.
Yeah.
I waited, and let's see.
Where'd you go in Germany, though, is the question.
So I picked it up in Stuttgart, and I was going to do the Grossglockner, which is the twisty road through the Alps, and I picked it up for my birthday, which was May 1st, and I thought, okay, this is going to be like the best birthday week ever, and so I'm driving up, and all of a sudden, there's this chalet-looking toll booth that's closed, and that's the entrance to the Grossglockner. And they said, "Sorry, closed." Actually, there was nobody there, so I just had to turn around.
Oh no!
And so I had to find an alternate route over the Alps, and I found a train that you could just drive onto, and it went through the Alps.
Whoa! Nice.
Yeah, it's 18 euros, and you just drive it on.
Where did you end up?
In Austria somewhere. Just in the boonies.
Did you have like Cup 2s on that thing too? And you had to drive. Was it snowy up there?
Yeah. Here's the thing. So the whole trip was kind of it wasn't a letdown, but it was just anticlimactic because, the color I ordered, I saw it under the fluorescent lights at first, and I was like, oh man, that's the wrong color. And then.
Wait, had you seen it outside at first? Would you have thought it was the right color?
They do for European delivery. They put it in this little showroom.
No, I've seen that, but I'm just saying, like, once the car, did it look the way you wanted it to look once you brought it outside?
Once the sunlight hits it,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
But
it's
was,
not like
what color was it? Brewster green.
Brewster green, yeah. But it was overcast, and then it started raining when I picked up the car.
Does it look black when it's dark and wet?
Matt, we're not going to do this right now.
It's hard for you.
This is the joke, right? Anytime I post this car, Lieberman's like, "Oh, hey, look, a black car."
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing. It's a good bit. I like Brewster green.
I wore this hoodie, and I was talking to Mac Hogan, and he goes, "Nice black hoodie." So, it's just
now I know that you have a thing that annoys you. I will lean into that.
It's your thing, just like Mac Hogan's thing is being called the world's tallest man.
But he is the world's tallest man.
Isn't he? He's absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So,
hilarious. I'm sorry that it's that it looks black in the dark and when it's wet. Yeah,
that
happens.
I know. God, my GT4 just looks wrong. Just awful.
You're the worst. Yeah, but it drives good.
So this isn't your car, but this is the same color.
That is my car.
Oh, this is your exact car.
There's only one Brewster Green GT4 in the world, and that is it.
Nice.
That's why it's so hard to find it.
But
online.
you tow it. So how many track days have you done with it?
Oh my God,
all of them.
I have 10,000 miles on it, and I've probably gone through 4 or 5 sets of tires.
Oh, that's a lot of track days.
Yeah.
Do you put Cup 2s back on it?
Absolutely.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. And I always go back and forth. I'm like, should I get 19s and then amortize the wheels and then get cheaper tires? But I can't find the right tire I want in 19. So the Cup 2s suit it so well, and it just
do you time
really
yourself?
Sticks. I don't.
Okay.
I
so
don't
you just
time
go
myself.
out for fun.
Yeah.
Because I found the reason I ask is because I found in other cars, not necessarily GT4, but in other cars when I've driven with a timer on Cup 2s, I get a warm-up lap, the fastest lap I'll ever do around that track, and then almost immediately I'm a second off the pace, and then it just kind of levels out a second and a half or two.
Yeah.
Whereas if I have a Super Sport or a 4S, I can't get that best lap, but all my laps
They're
will be
remarkably
pretty consistent.
Yeah.
But I was actually not asking because of that. I was asking to see if you'd found a better track tire for that car.
For that car, no. For the 987, the Nitto NT01s are phenomenal. They're just they're just so soft, and you can feel them grip. And
Do you even have any other options in them for the Boxster or for the Cayman?
they have a Dunlop does a Sport Max race,
Oh.
and I've never driven on that, but the Cup 2s
Durezas
are
are
pretty
good.
amazing. Yeah.
We would run Durezas on the Mazda on the MX-5 race car, and they were pretty grippy, and they would last an entire 12-hour race. So that was pretty good.
Well, maybe if they have a 295 3520,
I don't know. Is that what it is?
The rear is
3520,
and then the
All right.
front, or no, 295 3020, and then in the front, I think it's 245 3520.
That's a good amount of tire.
Yeah, it's a good amount of tire. Yeah,
Good amount of tire.
And I just got back from Buttonwillow, and it's time for a new set.
Yeah, Bun was fun in that car. I bet.
yeah.
But is it all third gear? No, second over some of the little guys.
It's
right?
second. We were doing counterclockwise, so as you're coming through, kind of like the that off camber thing at the end before
Yeah.
sunrise, you just pop it down to second for.
Is there any fourth gear at all?
On the front straight, you can
Not in a
hit-
GT4, I bet, because they have a gearing issue.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I was
Yeah.
wondering because that car's like the gearing can be interesting.
The
depending on
gearing's
the
a
track
little
you're
tall,
on.
yeah. It's good for Auto Club because as you're going around
Yeah.
the oval, it's
You can just keep it in second.
first. Just keeping it first.
Have
yeah.
you thought about doing the shorter gearing though, that like
I've
Sharkworks
driven.
does?
I've driven the third gear that Sharkworks has, and it's great. But it's like the Torino. There's just something about keeping the car stock that I just really cherish.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You can do it. I happen to really like the alternate gearing.
Yeah.
But it's so expensive that I think it would either begin a rabbit hole of modifications
Oh, absolutely.
that would end with swapping engines.
Well, that was the TTRS. I got the camber plates, and then they have a diff that allows you to rotate it, and then they have brake ducting, and it's like, oh my God, I just spent $20,000 on the car.
Yeah. On tweaking.
On tweaking it,
Yeah.
If I were to time myself, I'd get maybe a second better.
I mean, you can do. There is some noticeable difference in feel with something like a diff or the gears,
Yeah.
and you could make the car more enjoyable in your everyday life if that's what you really wanted. But you just are, to do something like that. To open up a gearbox, you're committing to owning that thing for a while.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? That would be the kind of thing you would do on fucking day 2 with the car.
Yeah,
And
you
then
just go nuts.
And then, I remember I forgot who wrote about it. Was it Jack? Somebody wrote about how you actually get more for your money by modifying like right now. Like don't wait. Like get it now, and that way you have that mod for the most number of days with the car. I don't
Right.
know.
So instead of a slippery slope, you just fall off
do
that
it
cliff.
all.
fall
You
off,
do it, fall
jump.
off the cliff and then enjoy it the whole way.
Enjoy the impact.
Spend $80,000 and spend $120,000 immediately.
Oh my God.
I'll tell you what, having gone through the bullshit process of building and developing that Mustang I did versus writing Lee Keen a massive check and handing him a donor car, it was much more satisfying to just give them a check and then the semi rolls up at my house, beep, 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 and then it's here's your car.
Right.
And then if anything
that's
goes wrong,
great.
if anything goes wrong, you can blame someone else.
I can blame someone.
You can blame someone else, yeah.
So you never feel like an idiot.
Mostly not like an idiot. Yeah. But no, I forgot where we started on down that tangent. Oh, the GT4 European delivery.
The GT4, yeah.
Did you do Nürburgring?
So that was the other question I had gotten. I had never been to the Nürburgring until one of my first assignments at Motor Trend, which was a year after that. And people said, "Oh, you can take the GT4 to the ring." I said, "No, green car, green driver, green hell, and a public day, absolutely
That's a
not."
good T-shirt.
Oh yeah,
Green card.
Yeah, it's almost as good as my all road shirt. Yeah,
that's a good shirt too.
yeah. And so what I did is I did kind of a road trip of different countries. I went through Austria, Vienna, and then one of my favorite parts was going from Austria to the Czech Republic, and you drive on this road that almost looks like a marsh on either side. Mm-hmm. And as you're driving, you can see the old Eastern Bloc checkpoints where people would have to go through, and then at the end of it is a gas station where you have to buy a sticker for your windshield to get on the superhighway.
Yeah, the toll stickers.
The toll stickers.
Yeah, I remember having to do that. Yeah.
And in backwoods Czech Republic, they don't speak English. If you don't speak German, which I don't, I only speak French and English. And so it was a bunch of...
Just one more than I do, yeah.
Well, I tried.
It's a lot of
it
pointing
didn't work.
at pictures.
It was a lot of pointing at pictures, and they had the hot dogs on sticks. It was so weird.
Well, that's
just this
delightful.
gas station. So we
I
finally
believe those
got
are known as corn dogs, Derek.
they were just these like really long hot dogs. They weren't covered in cornmeal. They were just like different
just hot
lengths.
dog on a stick.
Yeah, and
making me hungry.
National delicacy.
so
I'm
I got
really
the sticker.
enjoying that.
I got the sticker and
you got a sticker and a stick.
and the stick.
Nice.
Yes, I did. Then I went through Czech Republic, and the other cool thing about the Czech Republic is that the superhighways aren't fully done. So you'll be on this beautiful 4-lane, undulating, sweeping road, just carrying really great speed, and all of a sudden, there are just roadblocks, and it dumps you onto this
Like a bullshit side road.
bullshit side road for like 40 kilometers, and you're stuck behind everybody who gets dumped off. Then it comes back on, and you're like
so
going
funny.
along, and it's just like about 5 times.
It's like we had money, and then
Yeah,
we ran out.
yeah, just kidding. So at
That's
that point,
crazy.
Yeah, at that point, I went back to Germany and found a Macan Turbo just as I was crossing the border, and we just like ramped it up and just hit the Autobahn. And at first you're like, oh, great, the Autobahn. Why doesn't everybody do this? Like, why don't they do this all the time? And then you fill up, and you're like, oh, that's why.
Yeah, because I just went through a tank in 60 miles.
Yeah.
It's a remarkably civilized system.
It's so great. You flash your lights, they politely pull over.
Yeah.
It's not like somewhere
Even
in
if you're
Ohio.
not going 1,000 miles an hour, it's like the farthest right lane is the slowest lane, and people just
Absolutely.
maintain that, and it works so much better.
There's
I'll tell you what,
decorum. They're
though.
not trying to teach you a lesson by staying in the left lane and
Yeah,
brake checking you.
not everybody's their own cop.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
I gotta say though, I was in Germany in August, and a friend of mine picked me up at Frankfurt Airport in an E39 M5, which is the perfect car for the Autobahn. So we were doing about 130 in the left lane, and all of a sudden this was the summertime, so you'd get like these Dutch guys. By the way, every European country having their own plate with their own initials on it is great because it comes with all these fun national stereotypes. You can just wean it. It's
fucking Dutch.
Yeah, it's like a fucking Dutch, right? So some guy in like an NL plate would just pull into the left lane, just kind of glide in there in like a Renault Clio, and then we'd have to slam on the brakes from 130 down to 60 without having to plow into this guy.
Oh.
This would happen a million
it
times.
sucks.
Yeah, and also the Dutch love to tow weird shit on caravans. I saw a Fiat X19 towing a caravan,
I love
Respect.
that.
and then I
Respect.
saw a Morgan.
If that guy wasn't in front of you, you
Yeah.
would be fighting people to take his picture.
Absolutely.
right.
100%.
we
100%.
blew past him at 110, so I couldn't really get a good shot.
I would be fighting to take that guy's picture.
Yeah.
But
They
you know
probably
what's
had
weird
one of
about
those
the fucking-
dildo-shaped things too.
When I did the 992 thing, when I drove it across the Autobahn and then flew the car here. So the Autobahn, when we were doing like a long road trip down it, the adrenaline spikes and crashes from going 150 miles an hour and then 60 for 30 minutes, but exactly 60.
Yeah.
And then you go back to 130 and then down to 6. Like, I would have these adrenaline spikes and crashes, and it made me really tired.
Oh, interesting.
And then when we brought the car, same car, put it on a plane, brought it to America, drove from Ohio across Kentucky and Tennessee, I was going, 70 to 80, maybe a little up to 90 or 100 sometimes when they're open. But I was moving through traffic, and I was speeding by the letter of the law, but not doing anything I would consider dangerous by any means. And I was a lot less tired because
didn't
I
have
had
those peaks and
I
valleys.
didn't have those crashes and adrenaline spikes. So I actually, although I can totally agree that the Autobahn system is probably the best for everybody, for the selfish person in a 911 trying to cover as much distance as possible.
Absolutely.
I was shocked at how I preferred the American road tripping, where you just sort of drive the speed that feels comfortable and you don't have the speed cameras regulating you that heavy.
It's much better in concept than it is in reality, for the most part. The Autobahn, you know? It's
but
like
it's super fun in some ways.
it's
you know?
great when you get up there and you're going 150, 160 miles an hour, and you think, oh God, I've done it. And then
Yeah.
there's a traffic jam, and
Yeah.
you think, okay, I'm pulled back to reality. It's
True.
one of those.
But the German education system and the idea, the importance that the Germans and other European countries put on driving.
Place on driving proficiency, driving safety.
the best.
Yeah, it's really, really great.
I love driving in like Sweden. Like whenever you're up there, like that's where people fucking can drive
Yeah.
up there. It's great.
Yeah.
You're never stuck behind people in Sweden. It's
no,
awesome.
it takes what, a year to get your license up there?
It costs
You know?
like 2,000 euros.
Yeah.
Yeah,
1,500
you have
euros.
to.
Yeah.
You really have to know how to drive before you
Yeah.
get that license.
The first
Scandinavian
time
rules.
The first time I ever drove on the Autobahn, I think this was 2015. I had a Porsche Panamera press car, and this was like 2 a.m. And I remember going through all these construction zones, and I was doing 60 kilometers exactly. But I saw this giant flash of a speed camera, and it looked like a giant red orb floating in the middle of the night. I thought it was a UFO.
That's what it was.
Yeah, right.
Blake.
I went. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm actually this is an out of body experience right now.
Yeah.
I haven't been the same since. But I went on a Nürburgring
And
with
then
the
I
car.
bought my first Saab.
Yeah. that's when the infection happened. First of 9. That's why my wife hates me. You know.
Aw.
But no, I came back to America, and then a couple weeks later, the PR guy from Porsche emailed me, and he was like, "Yeah, we got you on a speed camera.
Yeah.
You did 63 and a 60."
Oh,
Yeah.
they were mad too.
They were
really
like,
mad.
we're just gonna pay for it.
So
That's
I
good.
had one of those where I had an M6 press car, and I got the biggest fine I've ever gotten for driving in Switzerland. I was doing 16 kilometers an hour over the limit.
Matt.
And BMW contacted me later, and they were like, they wrote me a letter that was like, just said, "You're paying this," and it was €1,000.
Wow.
It was like $1,500.
You're also banned from Switzerland now,
Well,
right?
that's pretty much what they said. They were the letter from the Swiss government, like BMW basically just narked me out. They were like, this guy was driving. So the letter from the Swiss government was addressed to me, and it pretty much said, this is your bill. This is what you did. You cannot fight this. There is no process. If you ever want to come to Switzerland again, it'll be €1,000.
Rules
And I
are
was
rules,
like,
man.
those mountains are so pretty, and I
know.
gave him €1,000 fucking euro. And I love Switzerland.
Plus, you
It
had to go do
sucks.
watch stuff there too.
I
Yeah.
love Switzerland so much.
You know,
What a
there's
great
2
place.
levels of criminals in Switzerland. There's that guy who kept children in the basement, and then there's you doing 16 kilometers, and there's no one else. You're like their Ted Bundy. You know that, right?
Oh,
There would be a lot of financial crime, but there is no financial crime there because they're like,
You can
everything's fine.
launder
Right.
$100 million, but you
can.
better do it slow.
You can torture people for
Yeah.
decades in a basement.
If your bag of money arrives 2 minutes too early, they look
Yeah.
at their Swiss watch and they know you're driving too fast, and they time distance average that.
Why is that country got to be so fucking pretty? Damn it!
that's why.
Damn it!
They know what they're doing.
In Iceland, there's no enforcement.
Really?
So if you are the kind of person who wanted to be the boss of bosses and ship a car to Iceland to have a go, they are completely unprepared for an individual in a sports car who is prepared to just ignore the rules.
But the only cars
There's-
in Iceland are like 800 horsepower nitrous powered like off-road Wranglers.
Right. No,
33-inch
nobody
tires,
drives
right?
sports cars
Yeah.
there. I drove around Iceland for a week. I saw one Boxster and one like 3 Series BMW, and everybody else was either in a shitty beater or a big truck. That
There's
was
2
it.
Ferraris in the country owned by the same person, according
Wow.
to our guide, and and everyone knows who he is just because there's so few of them.
And they have amazing roads. They have beautiful scenery. They have no enforcement. And they have the most passive, obedient population ever. And so if you go, I'm going to treat this place like my racetrack, there's literally nothing they can do about it.
There's
You go
like
3 kilometers and you hit a geyser, yeah.
there's like 5 speed cameras, I think, in the country.
I got a ticket from 2 of them. Because 2 of them are at either end of one tunnel. Ba-bam!
Iceland called Switzerland. They're like, do you know this guy?
Yeah, no, they
They're
had
like,
a-
yeah, he's banned.
They had a call out for somebody driving a Lamborghini. Of course, I was in a McLaren, so
Right.
it doesn't matter actually in Iceland. It just means
Yeah,
blue-
wedge-shaped
it means blue
car.
wedge-shaped car. Yeah, but it's cool.
You're not the guy with 2 Ferraris, aka Steve 2 Ferraris.
yeah.
Is that his last name?
Eric,
what we call him, yeah.
Ericsson, 2 Ferraris. What else you driven recently that you liked, Derek?
Oh man,
Anything good?
Speaking of Ferraris, the Ferrari F8 Tributo.
Did you drive?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
and do tell.
Oh my God. So, back to the what we were talking about, computing power. Back in the 80s with these great ideas, they just didn't have they had 8-bit stuff. So it's either on or off. You're either going to stay on the road, or you're going to fly off. And something about the F8 Tributo, the people who buy them, it's a 710 horsepower rear-wheel drive car. Where are you going to drive that? and especially if you don't have the skills of a Ferrari test driver.
No, the cars are too fucking fast for humans now.
It's just mind blowing. But I love the 488, and the Pista's great, and so the F8's kind of like the evolution of that. With the
F8 is where you take the Pista power and then normalize that,
right?
Pretty much, right?
And it's one of those cars where Ferrari has figured out with its electronics how to make you feel like a hero without dumping the car or making you feel like, oh my god, I'm not really tapping into this power.
Well, they've been doing that since the 488, right? And
Yeah.
so it's refinement,
The 488 has
refinement.
the variable, angle drift control kind of thing,
Yeah.
which works actually pretty decently.
No, it's great
Yeah.
because we're mid corner, we're like before the apex, and you can nail it, and it's Mary Lou Retton around the corner. It just sticks the landing. And
Is it
looks
that
amazing.
much different from a 488?
No, it just
No.
that was such a relevant joke.
That was an amazing.
I was about to say,
reference.
is this some Brian Boitano shit going
Yeah.
on?
That was
What would he
incredible.
do?
It probably lands with our audience though.
Yeah,
Our
okay.
audience skews a little older. It'll probably land.
All right, well,
I
you're
wouldn't,
welcome.
I wouldn't dwell on it. You're good.
I would say, yeah, it's an evolution of the 488 in every way. The other cool thing about the F8 is that it has a screen on the passenger side instrument panel. It's kind of
I
like
love that.
It's like the anti-R8, where like you get in the R8 and there is nothing for you to do.
Yeah.
You sit there because the driver has the virtual cockpit. The
Yeah.
driver has everything. But on the F8, like the passenger can be like, oh, I'm gonna play with this pretty little
No, it's
screen
good.
in
It's
the middle.
co-driver screen.
Yeah, it's
you
a
can,
co-driver
You can
screen,
fuck with the
yeah.
GPS. You can change the music. You can do some settings. You have gauges so that when the driver's driving like a fucking asshole, you
Right.
can see just how much poo should come out.
Yeah, your significant other can be like, I told you not to drive that fast.
I
So
know. The
it's-
nagging wife screen.
It's a daily. You could daily drive this thing. It's not one of those cars where it expresses its displeasure at driving 50 miles an hour through the city. It's great.
The new exotics are like
Right.
There's really no sacrifice at all for driving them every day. You just
No.
can. It's like they're just regular cars that just happen to be able to go insanely fast.
Well, I had just come off when I did the F8. I had just come off the heels of the McLaren GT drive.
Is it me or does the ass end of this car look awful Lotus Evora-ish?
I
Yep.
like it.
It does,
It does.
right?
Yeah.
The taillights are
Having
very
said that,
Ferrari. I
it's-
like them.
Yeah, thank you. It's the return of quad taillights
Yeah,
on the
like
back
Lusso,
of this.
right?
Yeah,
Same four round.
Oh, now that's interesting.
that's what I loved about the
I didn't really
F12.
think about the quads, huh?
Yeah, the quads
Quad
came
rounds.
back.
All right. I fucks with it.
Yeah, so I had just done the McLaren GT like a week,
Oh,
just a
yeah.
couple days before that.
Is that good? No, huh?
No, but
That bad, huh?
here's the thing. McLaren makes one car.
It's sad, but kind of true.
It makes one car, different
Oh,
bodies.
wow, so that's the 488. Wow, the fucking new. Go back to the new car. The new car looks better.
Yeah,
Yep.
it does.
Yep. New car looks better. Okay.
It does.
Wait, yeah, the McLaren GT, sorry.
So, I love driving the McLaren. It's just really great. But that is one of those cars that you really have to hammer on to get a sense of what that car's about.
Yeah.
And so McLaren was so confident that they had built a Grand Tour that they called out Aston Martin. They said, this car has compromises. Ours is not a compromise when it comes to a Grand Tour. We've figured it out. The car is compromised, but just in the opposite
In a different
fashion.
way. Yeah.
So I started calling it the McLaren Brougham.
That's awesome.
Because it's like, okay, you put a vinyl roof on and wire wheels, and all of a sudden you have a luxury car.
Photoshop that up, dude.
Yes, please.
Photoshop it in Merlot. It's a Merlot Brougham.
Yeah, with a white vinyl roof.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, or
With a-
carriage
I
top.
want a fucking opera window on the Landau roof.
Yep.
Photoshop it up, people.
Yeah.
Maybe a giant spare tire on the rear where the engine glass goes. Yeah.
Oh, man.
and
That's
put it.
mean,
Use a
but
backdrop
funny
of
as fuck.
Tampa, please.
Florida plates.
Yeah, Fort
So is
Lauderdale.
it that soft?
No, it's the opposite. Where you drive, the Aston Martin DB11.
Yeah.
and you drive it on the track for 3 laps, and the brakes are cooked.
Yeah, it's
and
terrible.
The directional stability. The direction. You turn left, you turn right, and it just freaks
I
out.
don't want to be here. I don't go to the gym.
Oh, my,
Why?
yes.
No.
And you get in the McLaren, and everything's just razor sharp and awesome. But when you're trying to make it a GT, you're still in, a carbon fiber tub with, this Forza engine behind you.
I feel a little different about it. I haven't driven the GT yet,
Yeah.
admittedly, but I drove the 570 GT. That was the car I drove around Iceland.
Okay.
And even though it was still the McLaren,
Right.
it was still the McLaren.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved road tripping it. I thought it was super fun. It didn't give me any shit.
Yeah.
It was so comfy. I think they really tuned their suspensions nicely.
No, I
And
agree
had
with all of that.
Great time road tripping it. And the 720 is my favorite road car out there right now. The ride is so incredible.
No, the ride is incredible.
Yeah.
The responses are so great. The inputs are so great. But if you're going to build a GT, if you're going to build a Grand Tour, you don't want to be fatigued at the end of the drive with road noise, with
So do you think it's a
tires.
materials issue where it's because it's a carbon tub, it's so light and it communicates a lot of sound from the road, and it's a little bit too, it doesn't kind of dismiss the bumps as it goes over them because it's light, it kind of feels too much of them?
No, I think it's still a McLaren, and I think McLaren is very cognizant of that. So they don't want to tart it up. They don't want to add a lot of sound deadening. They don't want to weigh it down. It still has to be something that you can take to the track. And so that was the compromise there. How do you make it more comfortable without reducing the qualities that make it such a special car? And
That's a hard thing for an auto manufacturer, because if they make it, too soft, if people don't get it, they'll go, well, what is this? Like, why is it so sloppy and stuff? McLaren's lost its way, but if they make it too sporty, then it's not a GT car.
Yeah.
That's the balance, and I think this is geared towards current McLaren owners who just want to add another one to their stable.
They told me that that they really are. It's really targeted towards existing owners, I think.
And in
but
terms
the one
of
thing I've driven a couple of these. Like, I've driven the Aston DB11. I drove the Ferrari 812.
Yeah.
I've driven a couple of these modern, really high horsepower GT cars, the AMG GT and stuff like that. And it's very, very cool car.
Yeah.
Love it. But when you've got these really high powered front engine cars, what ends up happening is they have to make them so stiff.
Yeah.
And the mid-engine cars, I totally get where you're coming out with the vibration of the engine through the carbon tub and all that stuff and the fatigue there, but I think it balances out by having a more supple suspension. Like that 812 I drove was stiff, and the AMG GTs are pretty stiff, and the BMW M cars are pretty stiff.
Yeah, you have to be stiff in order to
manage
have
the
that.
weight,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Everyone, I know 3 different people that drove the BMW X4M and an X3M, and every single one of them, the first thing they say is, "This fucking thing will crack your spine open." And
Yeah.
It's like, wow, we have lost the plot, haven't we? Like,
Well, we're constantly chasing better numbers and better grip and faster times, and so the only way to do that is to make it stiffer and manage the body roll and da-da-da-da-da.
Having said that, I get into the Ferrari F8, and I'm like, okay, this. Granted, it's
But with a mid-engine geometry, you can do it because you have longer control arms, so you have a more precise shock control, and you can get a little more articulation going. And like the rigidity of the structures have dictated for a long time, and like with shapes and engine and heat management and all that stuff, like they've kind of figured out how to make a mid-engine car that you can drive for 7 or 8 hours, and it's not like brain melting.
absolutely,
you know?
absolutely,
Yeah.
and so. Going back to back with the GT and the F8, to get in the F8 and think, okay, this is something that I could drive across country with, whereas I didn't want to do that with the McLaren, not
Interesting.
yet.
Yeah.
But
the Ferraris are they're comfortable. They're easy now, man. Those mid-engine Ferraris are just, God, I realize people that we're talking about like a $380,000 fucking car. It should be amazing.
It should be amazing.
It should be
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
But on top of being amazing, they're easy and usable. And so when we say shit, like when I said I drove the R8 up in Santa Barbara, I was like, yo, anyone could daily this.
Anyone could daily that. Yeah.
And people are like, what are you, crazy? It's like, no, really. And if you buy one and don't daily it, you're really selling yourself short.
Yeah.
If you want a once every 2 weeks car, buy something old and fucking loud. It smells a little bit like oil, and has
right.
like a
You smell like
gated
gasoline
shifter.
when you get out.
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
a once every 2 week car.
Yeah.
You could buy an R8 or one of these modern Ferraris or McLaren. You daily that shit. You're selling yourself short if you don't.
No, you should drive that car.
Take advantage of the warranty. Ferraris have great warranties.
It deserves to be driven. You know,
Yeah.
it is shocking how modern it feels. It's not just in the
Yeah.
performance, but you get in, you're like, all the creature comforts are here. I can listen to the radio. The seats are super comfortable. I have sight lines. Well, not on the F8, but you know, it's
But you have a backup camera. I mean,
yeah, sure.
It's not
yeah,
that hard.
why not? Yeah,
yeah. You can,
Screw the
it's usable.
plexiglass. You know, the louvered plexiglass.
I like a louver.
Yeah. Plus, Ferraris don't have the Chrysler center stack screen anymore, right? Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's not a Maserati we're talking here.
Yo, dude.
the
Like the 2010 Cali with that Chrysler
Yeah, I
screen.
know,
Oh,
right?
yeah, that's good. Should we go to the people? Do we have a lot going on in the people? Let's go to the people.
We got these, and we have the old ones if we need to.
Let's go to the people, and then we'll see if we can find some best ofs from the old crew. So don't, if you're at this point with us live, don't get into the super chat because we got a lot going on, and I don't want people to get in and then not get their questions answered. I'm going to answer this. We're going to go answer this one time for everybody that has asked it because it's every single show. First sports car, weekend in Kenya drives. Don't need it as a daily driver. The person has not offered a budget, so let's call it under 40K. Let's
Under
give it a
40K?
I got to make up a reasonable budget, right? 40K seems like, I don't know, first sports car. If you've got a daily driver, I don't know. Should we
used,
Should we
I
lower
assume.
the number? I don't know. I'm throwing darts at the wall here.
I think we should do used. 40 is a good number. You
40
get
is
a
a good
lot.
number, new or used. First sports car.
Oh, I would hands down say the 987. You know,
Cayman?
I think it's a phenomenal bargain.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those cars you get in, and it's so communicative and it speaks to you.
That orange one you bought, did you buy it new?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
how far did you have it? Many miles and
Well,
years
it's still in the family
Oh, your
because my
mom's
mom
got
bought
it.
it. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we just went to the track together.
Oh,
So
does it work properly? Has it worked properly?
yeah, and that's the thing about that car. You can just rail on it all weekend and just drive it home, and it just doesn't care.
That's what I like about Porsches. You can beat the shit out of them, and they
Yeah.
don't ever act like it's a problem.
No, it's just like it's like you walk into the saloon, you see her up there, you go and spend an hour with her, and at the end you are just sweating and breathing hard, and at the end she just lights a cigarette.
She's like, next.
Yes.
"Is that it? I did not
Next.
feel anything." Yes, we have 5 minutes left if you want to try again. I don't know.
Fucking good.
Yeah,
That's very funny.
So
And then she goes, "This is my fourth track session of the day." And you're like, "Shower? How much for shower at the saloon?"
Yeah.
no, I have perfume. Yeah, I'm French. Yeah,
I'll throw onto the fire, the obvious Mustang Camaro. If one of those two appeals to you, there's a lot of opportunity to modify them.
Yeah.
And you can beat the snot out of them too. You're not gonna overheat a Camaro at the track. You're not gonna overheat a Mustang at the track. Like they're gonna work pretty good.
Get
so.
a naturally aspirated V8 and you're good.
Yeah, a naturally aspirated engine in general. If you want to do some track work.
The one with the like a 1LE or Camaro or something
Yeah,
like that
those are
with
cool.
like the aftermarket Chevy Performance suspension is great. Yeah, I was gonna say, well, Derek stole my answer because I was also gonna
You're
suggest a
welcome.
Boxster. I was gonna suggest a 986, but MR2 Spider.
Ooh,
Yeah.
MR2 Spider. I don't know about track work at VIR. That's a
that's a
pathetic
fast track, right?
It's a
Yeah.
fast track for a slow car. But maybe in a lease.
Yeah.
Maybe a used
Speaking
Lotus.
of Toyotas, yeah, why not?
Used Lotus. Yeah. Casey says. Oh wait. Oh, this guy. All right. So here's a weird question, and we're going to address it. This person wants to know: should I turn my Cayman into a track car, or should I build it into a GT4 Club Sport style rally car?
The answer is yes.
Yes, you can do both.
You could do both. You could.
Why not both?
You could do
Yeah,
a
why
versatile
not?
type build with a height adjustable suspension
Why
and
not
two
get
sets
two
of wheels.
Caymans? Fuck it, they're cheap,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Those are two different. I think those activities are far too different, though.
I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah.
Well, that's the problem. The problem is
Right.
like I wasn't like, should I take my 87 and build a backdate Singer looking thing or do a Safari? Like,
I think that's an either or.
no, yeah,
know?
or it's like you do something like that because you dream of doing it. You know what I mean? You dream of doing one of those two things.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really need help deciding which one?
I think so, because I think there are people out there, again, I'll speak from personal experience. Before I ever was on the track, my only experience with motorsports was demolition derbies. So that's
Do that with a Cayman.
Wait,
yeah.
hang on, back it up.
Okay.
My only experience with motorsport was demolition derbies.
Yeah. So I grew up in a small town in Pennsylvania, 1,600 people, and my mom and I were just talking about it this weekend. She said, if I had known that you were really into this, I would have gotten you into go-karts when you were 5, but I didn't have that opportunity. So I had this fascination with cars, but I really didn't have, pardon the pun, a vehicle to really do something with it. And so we would go to the fairs, and I would see the demolition derbies, and I'm like, God damn, that's what I want to do. So
Have you demolitioned in a derby?
probably a couple dozen times.
Awesome.
That's sick.
Yeah.
awesome. So your first time participating in motorsport was demolition derby.
First time participating in a sport
that's
was
rad. Not
demolition
just
derby.
spectating. Love it.
My
So-
first time participating in motorsport was Lemons in a 63 Corvair, so it felt like a demolition derby.
Basically
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah.
So I think to answer the question, it's like it depends on where your passion lies. If you want to safari something and you love going off road and you love sliding in the mud and you really want to do that, then safari the fucker.
Yeah. You shouldn't do a safari build just to drive it on the road.
I'm all about
Yeah.
function
Yeah,
over
yeah.
function is over form.
Yeah, you
for
should
me.
do a safari because you want to do a certain activity, and
Yes.
the safari is the way to get there.
Yeah.
And if that
yeah.
activity is very accessible to you, if you're near trails or dirt roads or something like that, like the good thing about that is if you live in the right place, you can do that by just driving to a trail. Versus if it's a track car, you have to go to a specific place.
it's a whole
usually
thing, yeah.
Can be harder on the car depending on how hard you beat on it on the dirt.
Yeah.
If you're a pavement person and you live near a track, the Cayman is a great starting point for that. I've never seen a Safari Cayman, so I can't speak to that.
Have you seen the one that Porsche built?
No.
Porsche built a Cayman, one factory Cayman rally car prototype. It's awesome.
The Cayman Trans-Siberia.
Bro, it's the shit. That's actually, I wish they used that name. They
Right?
didn't. They should have.
It
But
didn't
look at
fit.
it.
It didn't fit on the side.
Yo, but look at it. It fucking rules, dude. With the martini livery, the bottom right there. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's a 911? Is that a 911?
No.
That's Cayman.
Is it a Cayman?
No.
What is that? It looks like a 911.
That does look like a
The white
911.
one on the top left is the actual one. That's the Porsche one. Yeah. That looks pretty awesome. But it's not really safari. It's really more of a tarmac spec rally car.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which
that's-
I'm about. I mean, if you wanted to take a GT4, soften the suspension, put a light pod on it, and throw Team Dynamics wheels, cool.
That
Any
reminds me
car,
of a
any car with
Lancia.
a light pod is automatically awesome.
All
so.
cars with light pods are good. That's correct.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck with that. I'm not about it. What else we got? This guy wants to know, for $1,500, should I get a Tag Heuer Formula One automatic watch or a $1,500 beater car?
All right, folks, this is where I step in. All right. What kind of car can you get for $1,500? It's probably not great. And also, I'm not really enamored by any of the modern Tag Heuers, even the Formula Ones
Formula
or
One's
Automatics or
not
whatever. No,
great.
that's not what they're known for. You can get so many more interesting watches for $1,500.
I'm siding with Blake on this one.
Yeah.
$1,500 gets you a lot of good quality Seiko, gets you a lot of vintage Omega, a lot of vintage.
You can get an Omega Speedmaster reduced for like $1,500.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's a chronograph.
It's like a
with
real
some cred.
watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could also
Tag
buy a
F1.
94 Lumina.
You know,
Yeah,
Vinny,
beat me out of.
Well, Vinny
you
was
can
at the
get
house this
two.
morning. Vinny Russo was at the crib, and he pulled up a Beretta. It was a Chevy Beretta.
It was a gun.
but it was a special edition, and it wasn't a Euro. Fuck, it was
GTU? GTEZ?
No,
Z26?
No, it was some other special edition Beretta.
Was it
And
teal?
It was teal.
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
was 2K. And I don't
1990?
remember. Yeah, and it was.
I think it was
Berethas are great.
1990.
They were all
very
teal.
Yeah.
They were all teal.
It was body kitted though. It had the 3.1.
Yeah.
It was
Okay.
that one. That's it right there. That's the exact thing with that.
hell yeah.
That might be from the actual for sale.
There it
That's
is.
a Solo Jazz Cup design. Wasn't that a pace?
Solo Jazz
Wasn't that a pace car? I swear to God, the
might have
Beretta
been.
was like a Indy 500 pace
It
car.
was. It
might
was.
have been.
I think it was 1990, and it had a modified Quad 4.
Yeah.
Yes, Beretta. Oh, so my dad had a 96 Lumina, and when I was growing up, I thought it was the coolest car in the world.
Yeah, those Chevys were
Yeah.
awesome. My tennis instructor back in the day. That's how white I am. Oh, Beretta Indy. Yeah,
Beretta
it's the
Indy.
Beretta Indy. That was it. Yeah.
That's how.
Around this time, they came out with the Corvette Indy concept, I believe.
Yes.
The mid-engine one.
Yeah,
The first
yeah,
mid-engine
yeah.
one, which
It
looks
was
better than the current mid-engine one.
It looks like a Daytona prototype.
Yeah, it's right.
No, the Corvette Indy looked like the Olds Aerotech.
Yes.
ended up
Yes, the
looking.
Oldsmobile Aerotech.
Yeah,
which
that
was
thing
great.
was rad.
It was super rad.
They got like 600 horsepower out of that quad 4 engine in the Aerotech or something like that. It was absurd.
Yeah, the Aerotech did have the quad form.
yeah. What? I can't hear you.
Evan says, "Oh yeah, what do we think of the new Top Gear America host lineup? Do you see it on Motortrend?
I haven't. Is it on? Is it out?
No, they haven't. No, they released
Oh,
the
yeah.
lineup. It's Jethro,
Yeah.
Dax Shepard,
Yep.
and Rob Corddry.
I actually answered this question the other day, and I said that I will always be warmly jealous of Jethro. And I think I was the only one one of the few to actually voluntarily see Dax Shepard's Hit and Run in the theaters.
I loved Hit and Run.
I loved that movie.
I interviewed him on this
loved
podcast
that
because of
movie.
Hit and Run.
Yeah.
And he made that movie so that he could do his own car stunts, which rules.
So good. And that Continental, I just loved it so
that's
much.
his-
Yeah.
That's his car.
And I honestly thought the third guy was Moby. So
That's hilarious.
yeah.
Honestly, I think
He
I
looks
think,
like Moby in that picture.
I think we're just gonna be remaking Top Gear America every year with 3 different white dudes in perpetuity until more than 10 people actually watch the show. I don't know.
That
I'm
is a
very, I'm
totally-
feeling very cynical about this.
That's a totally valid description.
Yeah.
I like
I
like Dax. I like Jethro a lot. I
Yeah.
like to see people that I like
Very
having
much so.
jobs.
Yeah. And
But-
that show
Opportunity for diversity squandered.
Yeah, yeah, and I know Dax actually races and stuff like that, and I'm sure
Yeah,
the
he
other
can
guys are
drive.
nice, but there's so much more interesting. Well, it's gonna sound really mean if I said interesting people, but there's like so much more interesting things going on in the car world. Even the Top Gear format feels a little staid right now. You know,
I'd
3
like
guys
to see a new car show that isn't Top Gear.
and isn't just
I would
3
too.
dudes. Yeah,
But you know, I kind of understand the point.
What about 3 guys fix a car, but they got to get it done by Friday?
By Friday,
It's a great idea.
customers gonna
Uh-huh.
Do I
fucking
throw
kill us.
something at you now?
This is
Hey.
copywritten.
Zach, you think it's gonna be really straightforward, but no, they all have different personalities, and they're gonna yell at each other. They're gonna throw shit at each
Gonna
other.
make a great
and
meme.
Swear.
Whoa, is that Wiley SD? Nick D'Amico says, "How does the John Hughes says thoughts on Guards red design washes? They're fashion watches. They're just fashion
Wait, are
watches.
these like Porsche design
They're
watches?
the Porsche. They're Porsche gauge cluster themed. Yeah,
I
they're
don't like
fashion
that.
watches.
Well, it's interesting because Porsche Design came out with like original stuff. Like they were the first company to do like a titanium case
Yeah.
watch, and they've done really interesting stuff in the past.
If
But,
you can't
yeah.
afford a Porsche design watch, then it's okay. But it's a fashion watch, and if you're in the fashion watch category, that's sort of everything that's in that category.
Don't get a watch that looks like a car. Get a watch that looks like a watch.
I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
I don't get a car themed watch, and also don't get a
watch themed car like the
Yes.
Lexus IS 300.
don't get a car.
What
themed
about
watch.
a Porsche key fob watch?
Wait, what?
What
You
is
know,
that like?
the
Oh,
Porsche.
that you use it as a key.
So the key fobs look like the car that you're driving.
Right.
I don't know. I'm getting super meta.
There
now.
was some kind of Aston Martin watch you could use as a key. I think it was like
really?
yeah. I can't remember who made it, but you could, it did have some kind of remote door opening.
There's
feature
that
in it.
Jaguar wristband that you can use to unlock your
The
car.
activity
Yeah, that's
band.
kind of cool.
Yeah.
Activity band. That's actually I like that one. That's good. It's waterproof. Nick D'Amico says, "How does the MR2 compare to its front-rear competitors like 350Z, Miata 240, etc.? And would a K-swapped MR2 be a nice entry to a mid-engine car? Possibly.
It could be. I mean, how much power can that chassis take?
I wouldn't bother. I might just do the 2ZZ swap. That would be easier. The Lotus one. But like
That's the Celica GTS motor, right?
at a certain point, does he mean the 90s MR2? I guess probably. Did he say
90s
Spider?
MR2 or
Did he say
Spider?
he didn't say Spider.
He just
So I've driven a couple early 90s MR2s that had that 2-liter JDM swapped
Yeah.
into it. They were rad.
Yeah.
I've driven a couple that were really, really nicely set up, and I remember at the time comparing them very favorably to Caymans and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely possible to build a cool MR2 that goes really quick.
I drove an AW11 MR2 that a friend owned with the 04 Celica GTS swap in it,
Oh, was it
and it
awesome?
was it was incredible.
Yeah.
That was super cool.
They're fun. I've driven a bunch of different MR2s, and a lot of them have been really, really cool. And like the problem is, would a swapped MR2 be a nice entry into mid-engine? Like the best entry into mid-engine is a car you can drive now.
Yep.
and that works and doesn't have a
works.
question mark. Like this
Yeah.
is you're talking about a custom swap.
and you don't have to pull the engine to do an oil change.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you can do a lot with get an MR2 turbo. Like that already has some power.
It's
like,
great.
Yeah, or buy an Elise or something like that's mid-engine, or buy a used Cayman. Like I wouldn't go into anything, just me, but I wouldn't go into anything going, I'm going to det this and get a different engine and figure that out.
Right. This goes back to the mod thing we were talking about, right? You're gonna write the check first.
Well, when I searched it, the first thing that popped up was how much it cost to swap a K. What it cost to K swap my MR2.
Yeah.
So you should
That's a
watch that
rowdy
video
MR2.
Yeah.
and then find out.
By Boosted Bois.
Boosted boys.
Boosted Boys.
Damn.
Big dick boy.
Tyler says bourbon tour recommendations in Kentucky. Buffalo Trace, motherfucker. So good.
Okay, as I am a Maker's Mark ambassador, which just means you fill out a form and they give you cards that
Stop it, really?
You can tell people you're an alcoholic. It's great. But occasionally they do events and stuff. And last time I went through Kentucky, I drove from Texas to New England, and I had enough time to stop at either the Corvette Museum or the Maker's Mark distillery. So I chose the Corvette Museum because this was post-sinkhole Corvette Museum. And it was the most incredible exhibit I've ever seen.
The sinkhole exhibit?
They spent millions of dollars on this like insane, gigantic wing of the museum that's all interactive. I learned so much about geology, plate tectonics, like the ground soil of Western Kentucky. And then you get to go in there and you see all the cars that have been crushed. They're just on display. It's
Corvette,
awesome.
more interesting when you throw them in a hole.
That's right.
They spent all that money building the museum originally, and then the big draw is hole.
Yes,
Yeah.
the whole.
You can like play with the diagrams and watch how the cars fell in real time and stuff. So also the Maker's Mark distillery is half an hour drive from the Corvette Museum. So
Well, they're all in a row. It's
They're
like
all right
France.
there, yeah. It's perfect. What we should do is get like one of those Sprinter vans and get someone to drive us from bourbon to bourbon and review it from the back seat.
Huh?
We could have a press. Imagine
live
a press
podcast.
launch where just like 10 of us review this thing drunk.
I like that.
What if we just set up our own press launch?
I'm a Michter's guy myself.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
really?
yeah.
I think I have some Mictors in my house. It's very nice.
I like Eagle Rare. That's around there, right?
Eagle Rare
Yeah.
is from Buffalo Trace.
yeah.
Buffalo Trace was so interesting. I didn't know that much about bourbon, but we went down there to do a Z06 thing. So they have 2 different mashes and then 2 different kinds of barrels and then like 4 different aging times. And so it's like 2 by 2. So from that, you can make 16 different products at one place. It's the coolest. It's like mixing and matching stuff. And it smells like fucking syrup and breakfast and angels.
No waffles.
And then you hear people yelling in the background because they had too many tastings.
Definitely.
No, that's not true.
Blake, I need your help with this question because you have written a coffee table book.
Right.
And I've got the Million Mile Lexus logbook still. And Wiley, Will CZ? Will ZZ?
Will says.
Will says, sorry, yeah. Wants to know what would it cost to get the Million Mile Lexus logbook turned into a coffee table book? I've thought about trying to do this. Like, if I just decide, like, I want to write a coffee table book, what the fuck do I do?
Gotta talk to my publisher.
Can you set that up?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I would like to turn, because the Lexus logbook is, I just had people who borrowed the car just write whatever they were doing, and
Dude, that would be
it's
awesome.
so
Yeah.
interesting and interspersed with some really nice photography.
Absolutely.
and like little actual writing about what
Yeah,
people
about
are
the
talking
car.
About, like
Yeah,
active
yeah.
journalism. Okay, yeah, that sounds
That's a
that could be
solid.
cool,
That's
right?
a solid book pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, like, all right, because I don't, literally, like, I don't know, like, the nuts and bolts of it. I was like, okay, I've got this thing. What do I do? So, yeah, can you hook that up?
I've worked on pitching a couple books. I was lucky enough I didn't have to pitch this one, but I have a couple ideas on books. I have one I'm working on with a friend of mine who you probably know in car LA circles. And, we're working on a book about old Seiko wristwatches and stuff.
Fuck yeah, dude.
That's something I really want to get off the ground. And then,
Can I do a column in that one? I love
absolutely.
my Seikos.
You should do the intro on that. Yeah.
Yo, shout out to Black Friday Amazon sales. The gold Seiko Turtle is still on sale on Amazon right now
What
for
is it, like-
$270.
I thought that would be that.
You
yeah,
will
I used to
never
have one
get
of
a
those.
better watch for less money, folks.
Everyone's got to have a Seiko diver in their
You
collection.
gotta have a Seiko diver. It's clutch on a gold Strapco Jubilee. Ooh, I love it.
Especially if it's like black and gold kind of look.
That's what I've got.
Yeah.
It's instant. You just grow the porno mustache out, and you're good to go. You're ready.
You already got Countach too.
Derek
so
and I are going
that's
to play
It
cards while you
matches.
guys
It matches.
finish this.
Yeah.
All right. Will says, I will get with Blake's publisher and I will work on that. Thank you for the reminder. We will figure out how to make the Lexus logbook into a coffee table book. Real Star Properties says, 80s series Land Cruisers and first gen LX 450s. Future classics? Absolutely.
I'm going to feel this one. Absolutely. I want one, and they're already getting expensive. So.
Yeah, buy now.
Yeah. Zach and I were over at Studio DeRogan yesterday, and he's got his Land Cruiser that he spent all the money at John Ward's. It's got a blown LS7 in it. It's got seats out of a more modern Lexus in it.
Oh, wow.
It's delightful. It's fucking great.
That sounds
yeah.
awesome.
Ward is a
cash
wizard
on that shit. And it was not done through Icon. It was actually done through the other business, Toyota Land Cruisers, which I didn't realize that he even still existed after Icon. But yeah, Zach, I don't know how to punch those in, so you're gonna have to pick a couple like good ones. I think we got about 15 minutes on this. You guys in a rush to go anywhere?
Nope.
No? Excellent. I love people that have nothing to do.
Oh boy.
Oh,
wow.
Jesus.
Okay.
These are some questions.
Really
when we had Chris Harris in studio, we went off on many tangents, and so we didn't get to finish all the questions. But here's a good one. Joe says, "What are the best first jobs and internship?"
We actually answered that one.
Oh, we already did that one.
Some STI channel 666 says, "I have an 05 P71. I'm getting a set of 17 by 8 RFP ones. That's a Crown Vic.
Vic.
Oh, Crown Vic. Okay,
I
sorry.
thought it was a fighter jet.
He's cutting 12 pounds per corner, but will that have a detriment to his ride or comfort?
Oh, so if you have a Crown Vic and get substantially lighter wheels, will that affect the comfort of the car?
It's
I don't
unsprung,
think
so I don't think so.
That can only improve it, I think, right?
Yeah.
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 I say go for it.
It's not going to really lighten the whole car up.
Plus,
so
the
it's not
entire thing's a
gonna-
couch.
It's
Yeah.
a Crown
That should
Vic,
be-
you
it's a
guys.
couch.
An object,
Yeah.
an object riding comfortably will stay riding comfortably.
12 pounds a corner is an enormous difference.
It is, but I think the car weighs so much that
Yeah.
the wheels might move, but they're
Yeah.
not going to move the car. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's so soft.
It's a
and sprung.
It's going to be
Body
like that
on frame.
Lexus we were looking at. They would jump
the
corners
hops, yeah, you're gonna be able to bunny hop shit. Jacob says, craziest thing to happen during a one take. The Lamborghini log video, which is well known at this point. I talked about it on Joe Rogan yesterday. Came around a corner at high speed, and the guy was dragging a log on a chain, free dragging it, like he had a 50-foot chain off his bumper, and then there was a log that was like 3 feet in diameter and maybe 4 feet long. It's probably 500 pounds, and he was driving in a canyon road, just free dragging that.
Like a water skier behind the truck.
Yes,
Just like
but
bouncing off guardrails?
Yes.
He'd
Bouncing
been
off and
trawling
shit.
for trees for about an hour or two, and he caught this one, and he's like, "Man,
Yeah.
I'm going to ring
Some
you home.
bitch."
I'm going to tire this one out with the trawl."
And
I'll tell you what, how these Duke boys going to get out of this one?
Wow, that was an amazing accent. Where did that come from?
Oh,
Where did Blake dig that out of?
I'm just a good old boy from the bayou.
I almost hit a girl on a horse.
Jesus.
I didn't. I mean, it wasn't really almost. It was like she was crossing the street around a blind corner on a horse.
Right.
And going very slowly, and I had to lock up all four wheels of a 300 SL Gullwing.
Was this in Malibu Canyons?
No, it was in Rancho Santa Fe down.
And
by
that was
San
my
Diego.
second. That was my.
Yeah.
We talked about this,
They
right?
ride
Where
horses
they have
to school there.
They have paths in between the houses for the horses.
Yeah, Rancho Santa Fe is like the Bel Air of San Diego.
Jesus, yeah.
Someone's coming out of a Fiesta ST. They want their first rear-wheel drive autocross track day car.
And Canyon car that
they're
could road
choosing
trip.
between E46, Z4M Coupe, E92 M3, or maybe 997 if they get cheap.
I mean,
Well-
997.
I mean, if
They're
you're
cheap.
All of his options cost him money.
I mean,
it's now or later though.
Throw your fate. They're cheap.
I mean, let's see. The V8 M3 is very nice. Makes a great sound.
Yes.
You have to make sure you get the right one because that rod bearing thing is very expensive to deal with. So that needs to be handled.
Bit heavy too, unless you have a suspension.
I
on
would
it.
I would go for the E46.
E46s are nice, but Zach has spent an awful lot of money and headaches making his work properly.
I mean,
and it's
with
stock.
all his choices though are going to have that problem because
true.
they're frankly German and they're luxury cars. Like the Z4M Coupe is better because it's lighter and it's
Right.
stiff. Like that's probably the best driver's car. But BMW, electronics, etc., etc.
Yo, can we throw the Cayman back in there? Because you're
Seriously,
getting a
the
much
answer-
better Cayman.
The answer is Cayman. It seems this
Dollar
tonight.
for dollar, a Cayman S is a better sports car than an E46 or an E92 M3. Probably not better than a 997, but it's going to be cheaper.
It's going to be cheaper, especially because the Cayman has always been overlooked
Yeah.
by the 911.
Yeah.
987s are such wonderful cars to drive
They're
anyway.
fucking great.
Delightful.
All right. What else we got? Peter says...
This is kind of invalid because he rented this and this was last week. He's like, where should I drive? I'm like, well,
sorry.
I hope you figured it out.
Sorry, Peter.
Yeah. Have you heard of this place called the 405? It's delightful.
It's great.
Those are all for Stefan, and Stefan's no longer here.
He says Crossfire SRT6 versus 0506 GTO in a manual for a sporty first car.
Oh, a friend of mine in high school bought a 0506 GTO for his first car in manual. He immediately put like a shifter kit on it, and it felt like a bolt action rifle, and it was awesome.
Yes.
I would do GTO.
A Hurst
rad.
shifter or a Pro 5.0 shifter would work excellent in that. I would go GTO. I've always had a nice time driving GTOs.
Yeah.
GTOs. Ashley raised her hand for GTOs.
Mr. CJ, trend of 2020 coming up. Reupholstering seats and headliner in denim or spinners coming back?
Is it really an either or?
I think
Only if
that
you have an
is just
AMC.
A joke either
Yeah,
or.
the Levi's edition.
That's right.
That McLaren GT's got that cashmere, bro.
Yep.
I really like that.
First use of cashmere.
Is
Honestly,
it good? Does it deliver?
So that's the thing. They didn't have any of those on hand. And then I asked McLaren Press, I said, hey, can you send me pictures of the car with cashmere? And they were like, we haven't taken any pictures yet. And I'm like, well,
does it really exist?
Yeah, does it really exist?
Is this the
I would
Cybertruck
really
of interiors?
I would.
It exists. I promise. Just give me $100.
It's beautiful.
Give me
and
$100
looks nice.
now.
Yeah.
It'll exist in 4 years. I swear. You guys really know.
Totally refundable.
And the windows are bulletproof.
Yes.
I'm planning to get the Saab seats reupholstered because it looks like a Badger's gone insane in there, and I'm definitely thinking of like a houndstooth cloth insert with leather around the outside.
Dude, you should do denim.
Can you tell us
Denim
about
is
the Saab
2020.
ownership experience,
the
Blake?
Saab ownership experience. That's a whole other podcast. It's actually I'm not gonna say it.
Is it actually another podcast? Is it a podcast about Saabs?
No, I was gonna say it's an actual
Saabcast.
Yeah, Saabcast. The real Saab story, am I right, folks?
I kind of miss seeing Saabs on the road.
Yeah.
They don't exist here anymore.
No, they
If
don't.
you see a
at all.
9000 Aero here on the road, you like fucking handbrake turn and go
so
back and
good.
follow that guy.
It's so good, yeah. Those wheels, that shape.
They were great.
And you and I are
Really
lucky
great.
enough to know Mark Skinner of Zurich, and he's got a whole like the
Oh,
finest
he's got
Saabs in the
all
city.
Saabs.
He's-
Yeah. But when I was growing up, they were ubiquitous.
Everywhere.
Just gone.
Yep.
Just gone. I learned to drive stick on a 93 900 turbo convertible.
Yeah.
Nice.
Is it any surprise that the Saabs that are remaining are pre-GM?
No, not at all. not in the least. Although my friend had a Vigan in high school, and I thought it was the fucking shit.
Like a 93 Vigan?
Yeah,
still
and
want a
drove.
Vigan.
You don't. I drove one. I drove one as an adult.
Do you want to turn
and
right? Just floor
Just
it.
Oh, I'm sure it's
extremely
absolutely terrible.
disappointing.
Yeah.
It is not fast.
You know, they,
Yeah.
they said that about my car too, but you know, torque steer makes everything more fun and interesting. You can just kind of like ring the wheel and you feel like a hero.
Have
gotta
you
be
ever driven a
engaged with the
Nissan
car.
Altima V6?
I had a fucking friend back in the day who drove a Honda, and he saw videos on the internet, I guess, of other people fighting torque steer, and he thought that was just what you do.
Oh,
and,
man.
and so he had like 100 horsepower open diff Honda Civic, and when he would fucking launch it, he would go, when it saw the wheel, and I go,
Bless his
that.
heart.
You're not supposed to do that intentionally. That's people, and he was like, no, it's the car.
Yeah,
Supposed to be
all right.
reactive, not proactive.
Right, that was
Yeah.
like me in a Mazda Speed 3. I was like, yeah, I'm a man. I'm a real
Sorry,
man now.
Alex, I'm throwing you under the bus, son. Anything else tickling your fancy there, Zach?
For you East Coasters, this guy needs a daily driver in Hudson Valley, New York. Rear
Hey.
or front wheel drive with snow tires, 20 grand. Wants to be a fun daily with 5 seats and a trunk.
That sounds like literally every car.
Yeah.
That sounds like every
Honestly,
car.
you put snow tires on any car, it's gonna
Right.
be great.
It's got to have wheels.
Yeah. Rear, front, all-wheel drive, any drivetrain.
Yeah.
Really.
Any drivetrain,
Trunk,
yeah.
5 seats.
I really
Wow.
like when people are encouraging us to talk about things by asking questions, but like throw us a fucking bone.
That's a little open-ended.
yeah.
to say the
I
least.
have $5,000. What should I buy? You should buy a car that works, sir.
You should buy a Saab
5K
900 turbo.
gets you something Japanese from the mid 2000s in medium to good condition.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
where you want it.
Yeah.
That's your real sweet spot. RAV4.
A RAV4, yeah.
5K gets you nice RAV4.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
else is in your life? Do you have a dog? Do you like antiquing? Do you
Yeah.
like...
Everyone needs a RAV4.
do you,
honestly.
Yeah.
Are you trying to impress...
How about
most
a military
people?
surplus Hummer pickup with no doors?
How about a Pinsgauer? Fuck it. Who cares?
Yeah. Yeah. There's a Pinsgauer for sale in my neighborhood.
Life is short. The world is ending. Buy anything.
Here's an even more vague question. We're just making fun of him. He traded in his 2015 650 X-Drive for a Veloster N.
Good.
And he also dailies an i3, and then he just says, opinion?
Actually, I like this guy. He
A
seems like he's
Veloster N
got it
plus an
going.
i3. That's not
I
so
mean,
bad.
that's a
Yeah,
great
that's really
stable.
good,
It's just
yeah.
it was kind of a
Stable?
funny. It's like I did these
It
things.
sounds like you're growing up.
Hey, can you validate my opinion? Okay, I will
100%.
say yes. You,
Do you
are
know
good
how
and you are
often-
doing great in life.
Zach, my Instagram inbox, how often I just get an image of a car and then
question.
thoughts.
Yeah.
Like, I just want your thoughts on this. Like, why?
Just say yes.
In what
Because you have
regard?
achieved
Yes.
that status.
have.
I'm so used to responding that it's moved up to the head of my emojis is this guy.
Yep.
You know,
Absolutely.
The shrug emoji?
The shrug emoji, like, fuck if I know emoji.
It's like fans who just want to touch the celebrity, you know? It's
Yeah.
like,
You're officially an influencer.
You just want to, people want to reach out and
Yeah.
they don't always have something to say. And all I can say to those people is, please just wait until you do have something to say.
Mm-hmm.
There's no time limit. Eventually you'll think of something. Just wait until then.
just wait.
Because I
Wait
won't
till you have your
answer
own thoughts.
If
Right.
you don't
And then
say
share them with
anything
me.
to me, I won't say anything back.
Right.
That's really how that works.
That's
You're gonna
literally
get
how.
You're going to get this guy.
That's literally how a human conversation works, from what I know of.
I spent
human
like 30
conversations.
minutes yesterday with Joe Rogan talking about just how humans aren't equipped to handle the internet and are not equipped to handle mass communication like this. And not just humans, but like governments and bureaucracies and all this, like just cannot move and handle the speed of the travel of information that we have now. And
Like the fact that every individual has to be on Instagram or something like that, and they are built up as their own brand.
exactly.
Right.
It's fucking weird.
Just can't.
Is that circled, Zach? I can't read that.
Should this guy get a Nissan Frontier for 11 or a Tacoma for 17? So
What
it's
are
kind
the
of like a
years?
value.
I mean,
Both are 2006. Short bed crew cab.
That's
have
really
100,000
expensive
miles.
for a Tacoma, but I can get.
How
I get
many
it.
miles?
I get it.
he's at
100,000.
100K. Here's the thing: you pay more for the Tacoma, but you're going to get more out of it on the back end.
I agree.
Yeah.
and I think you'd.
You could probably sell it for near to what you actually buy it.
Tacomas are depreciation proof, actually.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
look
that's
at
what
the
he's paying.
FJs
Well,
too.
look
I
at
know.
the two cars he presented. They have the same mileage, same year, and it's a
Yeah.
$6,000 difference.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Right,
if
the
you can
front-
stretch it, do it.
They've been building the exact same Frontier since 1952, so you know.
Same with the Tacoma.
Same with the Tacoma.
But
Yeah,
Toyota
right.
did it better first.
Right.
Yes,
Absolutely,
exactly.
yeah.
And they've been kind of improving it incrementally.
And
A
that
little bit.
Tacoma is bulletproof.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's really amazing how others like GM and Ford and other companies and Honda have tried to like improve the medium-sized pickup truck by finding creative solutions. And Toyota's like,
We're
we're
gonna
just
stay
going to
the
make
course.
it medium-sized and indestructible.
Dude,
How about that?
I saw the
Except for the
Ranger.
frames,
I
right?
saw the
Bluetooth,
Ranger the
what's
other
that?
day, and
Oh,
I
yeah,
thought
that's
this
right,
thing
yeah.
is huge. The Ranger is huge,
big.
Ranger is massive.
and it's why it's not selling the same as the old Ranger.
The Ranger also feels old as fuck.
It
also
does.
because you
I
can get
drove
an
a
F-150 for like the same
2019 Ranger that
price.
was shockingly old feeling.
Yeah,
it felt like a
it's
2010
old
Fusion.
and expensive.
Yeah.
I wonder,
like this question.
I wonder. Oh, sorry.
What's the best movie
Oh,
car to
okay.
use to win the 24 Hours of Le Mans?
the movie
Steve
car?
McQueen's Porsche 917. I think won Le Mans in that movie.
I want to use the Fast and Furious wedge car, and I'll drive the opposite direction and shoot you into the air, and then I can
Yes!
just drive slowly.
I want something with a lot of horsepower, something with shove. So I'm going to go with something from Ronin, like
I'm gonna-
a
You want to be
S8?
comfortable then.
E28, maybe
I'm going to use Knight Rider.
the M5.
Yo,
No,
I
I'm
want,
gonna- I'm
I
gonna
want
u-
the Back to the Future 2 DeLorean to
Yes.
just fly around the track.
Also, you can just turn back time, so you can just automatically
Oh,
win
shit.
it.
You're going to need
After
you're gonna
24 hours.
need uranium for that or plutonium.
Plutonium?
Yeah.
Oh, France has a nuclear program.
That's
You'll be
okay.
This is
fine.
true. This is
Yeah.
true.
I know some Libyans.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was going to say
They
that.
actually,
They drive a microbus.
that PRV is not going to help you out.
North
Have you guys
Africa,
seen the
former French
irony of the
colony.
Libyans microbus is actually worth like $150,000 now because it's a 21 window?
It was
Also, I just made that up.
no. It was.
No,
it
it's
was.
not.
It was a late 70s.
No, it was a
one.
shitty one. It was
Yeah,
not
it
a
was.
21.
Yeah.
Yeah, but having 21 window
I just want to see if I
microbuses,
could put it by you guys, but you're nerds, and so I couldn't.
Yeah.
Haven't they sold for like $200,000 at auction?
Yeah,
and
23 windows and shit. I
Yeah.
don't get it.
Yeah.
Yo, we just learned that Gabriel Iglesias. Look up Gabriel Iglesias' car collection. The comedian, Fluffy.
Oh, I
You know
thought
that
this
guy?
was Enrique Iglesias.
No, Gabriel Iglesias, the comedian who also has the nickname Fluffy, the
Yes.
fat Mexican dude,
Oh right.
He's great.
has an absurd absurd Volkswagen microbus collection, like dozens of them.
He owns $3 million
Dozens
worth
and dozens
of them.
and dozens of
Gabriel
microbuses.
Iglesias, the comedian known as Fluffy.
Yes, has dozens of microbuses. I didn't know this at all.
That's
but
insane.
Look at his fucking. Just show 4 seconds of that.
Is that a Trans Am Camaro
Yeah,
conversion?
you know
Yes.
what that is? That's one of those Ligenfelter Trans Am dealios. When they did it, they
Oh
put
my
it out
god,
of the
how are all of his so nice?
This reminds me of the garage up in Thousand Oaks.
Yeah.
All of the
Yeah, I know what you're
microbuses.
talking about.
Yeah.
Wow,
Wait,
that's
is
the
this
most,
his garage in Thousand Oaks?
that's
this
the
is
most-
this one says is in Long Beach, I believe.
Okay.
I mean, how old is this guy? This is the most boomer shit I've ever seen. In my
No,
life.
man, he's like, all right,
Holy
I remember
shit.
watching his
No, he's
special
in his
like in
late
the
30s
90s
or 40s,
Right.
maybe.
I'm
Funny.
gonna get into
Is this
comedy.
a YouTube video we're
God.
playing
Well-
right now? You should probably not.
Well, also,
I don't know.
I really like him.
I think it's
I
an
know,
embedded player.
I know we're talking over it, but we probably shouldn't.
yeah.
But fucking hell, that guy's got a lot of Volkswagens.
Yeah, seriously.
I didn't realize that he was that like die-hardy Volkswagen, but like,
Okay,
he really is.
Let me just say, I like Saabs. If I'm ever as rich as Gabriel Iglesias, I'm not going to spend $3 million on Saabs because I can literally buy every Saab on the planet.
Yes,
for $3
you
million.
will, Blake.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
will.
I
All
do
right, maybe
think
it's on
a
at
li-
one.
Isn't it a little strange when someone buys that many of one thing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, I know that like Seinfeld really likes Porsches,
But there's
Right.
a lot of Porsches.
he buys a lot of Porsches.
Does
Well,
it
this is
speak
like
to something in their
sneakerheads.
childhood?
I think it's like a sneakerhead kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
you want 40 pairs of Nikes and they all have slightly different laces and things,
Yeah.
and you can just drive
Well, it's
around.
also like a
and-
watch collecting thing where it's like, oh, this one is like a
Absolutely.
double underlined side sub or something
know.
like that. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
why I gave myself the one watch box,
Right.
and if I want anything else, something's got to go.
I
Right.
lost control like the last couple of years. I need to sell 11 watches next year. If you guys want to buy any old Seikos, hit me up. I
Do you
got
have
the
anything
Seikos.
big? Got anything big?
6105 Diver that got rebuilt recently, and then
Send photos.
King Seiko. Yeah, definitely.
Send nudes,
Yes.
bro. I need.
I'll send this to you on Instagram.
Watches.
Thoughts?
I need this watch. I'm
just
going to
gonna ask
turn
Matt,
2
thoughts?
into 1.
Yeah.
I'm getting rid of 2 in order to keep this one. That's. I'm trying to condense upward
Yeah.
with the watches.
Because if you're smart about watches, they go up in value.
I did that with cars too. I went from 7 cars to like 3 much better cars, which was a really good idea.
I went from a decent car to a Saab, so.
Did you get a Saab?
Do you have a Saab?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick says favorite pre-year 2000 hot hatch.
Saab 900.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna turn your mic off.
Yo, I'm actually with Blake. Saab 900 Turbo. I'm with Blake for sure.
Nah, rabbit.
Turbo for sure.
Where's
but
the
Saab
lie?
900 Turbo.
Colt
Oh,
GT.
Peugeot 205 GTI.
A Colt GT?
Colt GT Turbo.
Bro, they
Yeah.
gave them shits away on Double Dare.
1990. Yep.
Daihatsu Charade Turbo.
Yo,
look,
is this handling by Lotus? Was the Dodge?
No,
Colt-
that
that's
was
the
the
Isuzu
Isuzu.
Impulse.
Oh, the Impulse was
Yeah, the
handling by
Impulse,
Lotus.
yeah.
Right. You know, this car
We just
has
actually had
aged.
are wrong.
This Colt, you don't think this
What's
Colt's
that, Zach?
aged well? I think the Colt aged
I think the
well.
proportions are odd.
The
Wait.
Colt has aged well, dude.
Wait, hold on. Geostorm GSI, that was also handling
Zach,
by
have you
Lotus,
been
right?
tracking
Yes.
all of my,
Yeah.
like the Fossil Vega? Like you're getting a sense of my.
No, I am.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not. I have no problem with you. I just know that it's good. We'll never fight over a car purchase. That's
Never.
what I'm learning.
Never,
Totally
never,
fine.
never. Yeah.
First, what? Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
because you two are like ships passing each other in the night. Yeah. You're just like,
Oh,
okay,
that
I'm
guy's
going to
at
stick
a-
with my
that one- That guy's at
Isuzu.
a track day. Oh, it's a
Look at
4G.
this
It's a
guy.
4G63. Is it really?
If you had said
Jesus.
sedan, I would have gone with the Dodge Spirit RT Turbo.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
What sad man.
One of
I
my,
know. Thank you.
One of my dad's
That's
first
the
cars.
nicest thing you've ever said to me.
One of my dad's first cars was an '84 Colt hatchback.
Oh my God. Do you remember
Baby
the
blue.
Colt Vista wagon?
Yes.
That was the
Rory
Double Dare
Carroll
car.
is obsessed with the Colt Vista
Really?
wagon. Yep.
If you won the Double Dare Family Challenge, you got
Yeah.
a Colt Vista
Yeah.
wagon.
I wanted the pre-facelift.
Jeremy says, "How are E21s compared to E30s as a daily driver? Is an E21 just an older E30?
It's it's more shark nosy.
Right.
Yeah.
but
it's
aren't they kind of the same
predecessor.
underneath?
That I don't know. You would have to ask Camisa. But
The
I would
only
say
thing-
E30.
Really a Camisa question.
Yeah, I would say E30 day in, day out.
The only thing I know about the E21, and this is going to take this podcast to a very dark place, is that one of the Columbine killers had an E21, and that car is in
Really?
a garage somewhere in like off the Sunset Strip.
Was it,
Because the
I would
lawyer
just say-
owns
was it Dylan Klebold or
Yeah, I
Eric
think it was,
Harris?
It was,
I can't believe I,
think
remember
it
those
was.
names.
I know, right? It was Dylan.
Wait,
Yeah.
the question was daily
Very
driver,
Dylan
right?
car.
For a daily driver, I would say E30 hands down because it's just a much more modern architecture, interior, driving experience. I mean, it's got the steering's like 3.9 turns lock to lock.
E30s are awesome.
It's awesome. I just drove Tony Quiroga's E30 Cabriolet. It's got 29,000 miles on it.
How jiggly wiggly was it over bumps? Was it okay?
We didn't drive that far, but it's so tight.
It was
feels
tight?
like it's like a brand new car.
Because cabs are like way cheaper because the hardcore guys don't want them.
Yep.
But for cruising LA, I'm kind of like, this might not be so bad.
It was awesome.
Really?
It's also a very LA car. Let's face it.
Most LA car.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's good because
it's a
it's
90210 car.
It's small. It fits 4 people.
Oh, he's got the good wheels on it too.
Yeah.
Is that who's
That's
that?
Tony's car.
That's Tony's
Yeah.
car? Oh,
Yeah.
it looks good.
That
White
looks
with
like
the
it's gonna
black
be in a
the
music video right now.
BBSs
Yeah.
with the windows down.
He
Yeah, it's in
hates
a
the bottle
Frank Ocean
caps. The
video.
first thing he did was get the lace wheels.
Oh, he had the bottle cap wheels
Yeah,
before?
he hates the bottle caps.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's a good car. Did he get that for reasonable?
That I don't know. I just know that the guy who owned it never let. Well, I'll let Tony talk about it.
He's coming.
he's
When's
good.
Tony gone? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow. Yeah.
Tomorrow's here
Yeah.
tomorrow.
I'll let Tony
Oh,
talk
great.
about it.
Hey, Tony, what's up?
I hope he drives
guy.
it. Tony, if you're listening, drive that shit.
Yeah.
Let me drive it.
Maybe the guy will call me. I left a note on his window.
Yes. Yeah.
I already left a note on an E30 window today.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
My neighbor growing up in Massachusetts, his dad owned a BMW dealership, and Steve DiMartini, that was his name. He in high school drove one of those.
Steve DiMartini.
Hey, yeah, like a 4-wheel drive
great
BMW.
name.
I thought it was one of the coolest cars ever, but he was
Yeah.
also a dick. So
Well, he was
sorry
of
if you're listening.
Martini.
No,
So.
I think the idea of an all-wheel drive E30 is interesting for LA.
Yeah,
Could be
that would be
cool.
interesting.
Yeah, I like it. What do you want to plug before we get out of here, D-Rock?
I don't have any SoundCloud, unfortunately. But if you would like to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram at Derek Lane Powell, on Twitter at Derek Powell. I'm a little snarkier on Twitter. And you can read my RS6 review on Jalopnik and the Ferrari F8 and McLaren articles in the latest issue of Motor Trend.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
a good month for you. You got a lot of horsepower this month.
Really damn good.
Yeah,
month.
that's a good strong month. No shit boxes allowed. Yeah, that's excellent. Cool, man. Thanks for coming in, Derek.
Yeah,
that
it
was
was a
excellent.
pleasure. It was an absolute pleasure.
And we will do it again. You are local.
Yes.
So,
Next time I will
yes.
bring a coffee table book.
Please. Yeah. If you write a book you want to hawk, this is
Absolutely,
definitely
yeah.
your spot. Blake, where can we buy the book?
You can buy it at Amazon, but you can also buy it at better places like I guess Barnes and Noble counts as a better place now.
What's the best way to support you? Is it to buy it just anywhere, or is it better if they buy it at a retailer versus on Amazon? Does it matter?
You can buy it anywhere. Gestalten GST. Oh fuck!
GESTALTEN.
LTEN, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You can buy it from their official website, and then also it's actually at a couple of very cool art bookstores wherever you can buy like very interesting
Is it
stores.
a Deus?
It's
should
probably
be.
a Deus.
It probably should be a Deus.
It is at A-Tier LA, the very hip store on La Brea that does really cool motorcycle gear. I had my launch party there last night. It was extremely fun. Bought a very expensive jacket. And they actually stock a lot of the A-Tier books. There's the publisher, not A-Tier books, Gestalten books. They actually just did a book about Mediterranean design and life and everything
It's
like that.
AETHER? Aether?
Yes. Aether in Los Angeles.
Aether.
Yes.
Aether.
Not Weather Los Angeles.
Zach can't type
Weather
'cause
Los
he's
Angeles
sick.
is shitty these days for some reason.
'cause
But yeah.
Has to rain a couple times a year.
Yeah.
It washes the dog's pee smell off of Venice. That's what I love.
It washes all that fake grass in the median.
Yeah. The end of the summer, it's the dog piss smell.
It's a lot.
In like October, November, it starts to get really bad. And so and a nice big rainstorm is good. I'm going to buy a copy of your book, Blake. I'm glad you wrote a book. Can you set me up with your publisher? We can talk about the Lexus talking to
Absolutely.
Okay,
I'm gonna talk to the publisher, and obviously, I thought you would have gotten a free copy already. I'm surprised.
No, I'll take it. I don't want a free copy. I want to buy your book.
Okay.
I want to support you. I
appreciate it.
I don't need free things. I'll buy your book.
Next time I'm in town, I will definitely sign it. I gotta think of something clever to say.
You know what I don't want? Your fucking autograph.
I know it's a really fucking ugly autograph.
I have the
honestly.
best description on mine.
No fucking good handwriting. Yeah, I don't
What
even
does
remember
yours
what I
say?
said to you.
So I'm a big fan of The Good Place.
Oh yeah.
And so Blake signed mine.
to
Maximum Derek.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
All right, this is the last time we're going to be on this podcast. I'm sorry.
Until
you get
I'll
Dax
see
Shepard.
myself out.
Uninvited yourself.
You should get Dax Shepard, whose wife is, on
Dak,
the show.
go listen to Dax's episode of this show. He was fucking great.
was on
I spoke with Jethro today. I haven't talked to Dax yet, but I spoke to Jethro and I said, when you guys are done shooting and it's time to promote Top Gear, please come and make jokes with us on the podcast. And he said, absolutely, will do. So that's good. And if you need somewhere to park your shit in LA, you got a special car, need special treatment, Westside Collector Car Storage is here for you, just 2 miles north of LAX Airport and by all the beach cities. It's my shit, folks. It's my place. Everything that sucks about owning a car, I address for you. So you have to deal with
discounts for Saab owners.
You have a Saab?
If we will take pity on you if you bring us a Saab.
If you have the only Saab
your life
remaining
has
in
been
Los
hard
Angeles,
enough.
Yeah, I locked up 2 yesterday. I made 2 reservations yesterday. One is a Ford GT and one is a Carrera GT. So
Well
we're
done.
filling the spot with some heavies now. It's not just randoms.
How about
anymore.
a Colt GT?
Fucking dude, you bring me a Colt, I am ready.
If you've got a 1958 Saab 850 GT,
bro. I don't
All
even,
the GTs.
It's too valuable. I don't even want it.
you have a Saab, Blake?
My insurance rates will go up. I can't even handle that, bro. That's all for us tonight. We're back tomorrow at 5 p.m. with Tony Caroga for the live audience from Car and Driver. We're going to be talking about Lightning Lap. We're going to talk about his E30 convertible. Derek Powell, thank you for joining us.
It was a pleasure.
Blake Z. Wrong, thank you for joining us. It's good to see you, brother.
Definitely.
And thank you for coming to visit my cats.
Yes.
I'm sure they appreciate it. And that's all for us tonight. The Smoking Tire Podcast is powered by Shout Engine. Get your own damn podcast at shoutengine.com. It's easy. All you need is a connection to the internet, a microphone, and ideally something to say. Good night, everybody.